The unique aroma that rejuvenates your senses. The heartwarming deliciousness. And the satisfaction that comes from every bite, which makes you say, I love my Indomie.
Give your kids winning energy. Milo Active Go. With the goodness of malt, milk, and cocoa, helps them make the most of every day. Milo, the energy to go further.
Of strife and sorrow.
You know, since it's just you living here, I suggest you get somewhere else.
Why?
I mean no harm, but a young, beautiful girl like you shouldn't be living here all by yourself.
It's not that bad.
An apartment in town wouldn't be a bad idea. You know, safer, closer to work, you know.
I guess I understand what you're saying, but the reality is it's a luxury I can't afford.
Oh. Well, if the money is a hindrance, I'll get a place for you.
Wow, Doctor, you've done too much already for me. You helped me get a job, enroll for classes.
Look, I promised myself I was going to be of help any way I can.
You're a good guy. Thank you.
Right.
I'll see you around.
Yeah, see you around.
I thought celebrities and government officials are the only ones that need bodyguards.
I thought so too. But with the way the country is going right now, one can never be too sure.
That's true. You're very correct. But not everyone can afford that. Clearly you can.
What can I say? The universe has been good to me.
Please let this universe be good to me too. Honestly.
It will. You just have to believe and work hard. Isn't that what we were taught in school?
Please, D. If it's hard work or belief, trust me. If there's anything called A+, I have it in the matter.
And you're doing well. At least you can feed your family.
I just want to do much more than I am doing for them. Much more.
Well, the idea is to work smart and not to work hard. Don't mind those people back then in school who just only talk through their nose.
with D, it's like you've cracked the code. Share with the brother now.
Just like you used to share your exam sheet during exam.
Are you kidding me? You didn't forget?
Why will I forget? Of course I remember everything. You see this guy right here? Yeah. He's the reason why I have a university degree. He will do anything to have me covered at all costs.
Don't mind him. He's exaggerating.
No, it's exactly true. Can you believe there was one time we were nearly caught? If you see the action film this guy played out.
Guy. Man, you are a complete bank of memories. How come you still remember?
Oh, come on. I remember anyone who has been good to me. Nice guy. OG, real G.
Listen, Joe. If D-Money says you're a correct guy, I believe him.
Thanks, man.
Wow.
Thanks, man.
You see, D-Money here, we know that he's a player. And what that simply means is he's a family. I mean, he's like a brother. And now you're his friend. It only means you're a brother too.
Thank you. Thank you so much. You're welcome, bro. But how did you meet D-Money?
D-Money. It's a long, long story.
Don't worry, you'll find out soon enough. Very soon.
Exactly.
Toast to more money, less problems.
More money, less problems.
Less problems. Waiter, can we have more drinks here, please?
What am I not doing right?
Guy, how far?
This a super story, a life of strife and sorrows.
Next time on your award-winning Super Story.
Oh, well, the way it's looking, I'll just have to say good luck to you.
Yeah, you're right. But I need all the luck in the world.
Okay, let me tell you something.
You're finally home.
I'm finally home.
Are you okay?
Am I okay? Am I okay?
Eniola, Lenue, I'm the one doing drama. Abi?
Mommy, please don't Eniola me. He's the one that refuses to come. So if he doesn't care, why should I? For me, he doesn't exist.
Thank you, viewers, for making us your #1 family drama.
You can't afford to miss fresh episodes of Papa Ajasco and Company Reloaded, The Babington Family, Akpan and Oduma, also on WAP TV. Bande Ademuga Productions. We're nothing but pencils in the hand of the creator.
Issues in the sports sector remain one of the most debated among Nigerians due to the passion, followership, government involvement, impact on Nigeria's external image and our national life in the sports parliament. The NTA offers Nigerians deep views on issues with experts in the sports sector, offering in-depth analysis, hindsight, insight and foresight towards elevating Nigerian sports to the zenith on the floor of the sports parliament. Sports Parliament, a unique platform for sports discussions, showing live on the NTA. Keep a date with the parliamentarians.
The eyes have it.
NTA Parliament is a dedicated 24-hour channel that broadcasts activities of the Nigerian Senate, Federal House of Representatives, and all the 36 state houses of assembly. NTA Parliament, strengthening Nigeria's democracy.
They've come from all around Africa and have been fighting hard to make the final cut. And here they are. The coming days are sure to be a tough challenge for some of these young men, but this opportunity can be life-changing.
So every day is a chance for you to prove if you are or not worth it of the opportunity.
Fellow compatriots, if no single tribe or religion has defeated poverty, then no single tribe or religion can develop Nigeria. The success story of every state and capital is the contribution of every tribe and religion. Our Nigeria no be wazobia, no majorities or minorities. Every tribe and every religion still dey hustle for naira wey no get tribe or religion. So, my country people, let's join this movement that says naira no get tribe and use the naira to develop our naira land. Citizens first. Citizens before state of origin. Citizens before your religion. Citizens before your ethnic belonging. For participation, call 0902 739 5555.
Issues in the sports sector remain one of the most debated among Nigerians due to the passion, followership, government involvement, impact on Nigeria's external image and our national life in the sports parliament. The NTA offers Nigerians deep views on issues with experts in the sports sector, offering in-depth analysis, hindsight, insight and foresight towards elevating Nigerian sports to the zenith on the floor of the sports parliament. Sports Parliament, a unique platform for sports discussions, showing live on the NTA. Keep a date with the parliamentarians.
The eyes have it.
From dusk to dawn, 24 hours a day, NTA International is with you in your living room, office, everywhere and anywhere. We provide the company you deserve.
I commend the Navy's effort at maintaining a steady course in its drive for local content development.
Our policy on local content yielding results. President Buhari enthuses as he inaugurates naval ships, boats and helicopters, including indigenously built boat. Nigeria widens partnership with United States National Guard to include fire officers in capacity building.
I've already entered Nigerian Air Force to develop a scheme with fire service.
Strive to touch the lives of the citizens. President Buhari advises politicians at the presentation of book and former national chairman of All Progressives Congress. Good evening. This is NTA Network News. I'm Cyril Stover in Abuja. Hingino John Adams joins us from Lagos, and Doris Akumoye is in Port Harcourt. Welcome. President Muhammadu Buhari has inaugurated 7 new Nigerian Navy ships, boats and helicopters. Among them is the Seaward Defense Boat, which is the third indigenous boat built and constructed by the Naval Dockyard Limited. The president says the feat is in line with the federal government's policy on local production of goods. Michael Olale reports.
Securing the Nigerian waterways and by extension its exclusive economic zone has received a boost in the last few years. This ceremony is coming barely 6 months after the inauguration of the D-Blue platform by President Muhammadu Buhari. Together with the induction of these newly acquired assets, the president believes will boost the capacity of the Navy in securing the Nigerian maritime domain.
Given our present high dependence on oil and gas revenues, the Navy is undeniably a major contributor to the economic well-being of our country.
From 2015 till date, this is the third major induction of naval assets in the Nigerian Navy, and one of the ships on display is NNS OG. It is the third seaworks defense ship locally produced by the Naval Dockyard Limited.
I commend the Navy's effort at maintaining a steady course in its drive for local content development, which is in tandem with the philosophy of our administration. Furthermore, the federal government's commitment to properly equip the Navy with the right mix of platforms has seen the service take delivery of Nigerian Navy ship Lana in May this year from France. Local partners should share in this commendation for their efforts at local facilitation as outlined in the government's local content policy.
To complement maritime domain awareness of the Navy, a Suppression of Piracy and Maritime Offences Act was signed into law in 2019 by President Buhari.
Furthermore, the provision of the new policy directive by the current administration of the Navy codified in such documents as the Nigerian Navy Strategic Plan 2021 to 2030, the Chief of Naval Staff Strategic Directive 2021 to 2025, and the Total Spectrum Maritime Strategy have given the service credible guidelines and leverage for improved operational efficiency.
The Chief of the Naval Staff said the boats will be deployed to solve hydrographic and security challenges.
NNS Aba, NNS Kano, NNS Ikene, NNS Sokoto, and NNS Oshun will be deployed for surveillance and patrol duties within our waters. These efforts are geared towards enhancing the performance of our constitutional role regarding hydrographic survey and policing of our waters.
The president also performed the laying of keel ceremony for the construction of the Seaworld Defense Boats 4 and 5. In Lagos, Michael Olale, NTA News.
Political office holders must strive to touch lives by coming up with life-transforming programs to change the narrative by providing dividends of democracy. President Muhammadu Buhari gave the advice at the launch of an autobiography of former national chairman of the All Progressives Congress, Chief Bisi Akande, in Lagos. Musa Tolia reports.
President Muhammadu Buhari joined chieftains and members of the ruling All Progressives Congress who came in their numbers to felicitate with their former national chairman, Chief Bisi Akande. This explains why President Buhari, who describes the celebrant as a detribalized and incorruptible Nigerian, decided to tease him and chieftains of the APC.
Akande was the victim, along with other AD governors, of a diabolical double cross. This book is a historical document. Students will find this an invaluable source of Nigeria's politics, notably between 1999 and 2020.
He is our president. We love him. He's one of us. We always want him to relax and come and stay with us.
Reality was not forgotten in the midst of lighter mood as national leader of the APC, Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, urged politicians to emulate the giant strides achieved by Chief Bisi Akande in and out of political office.
The book truly affirmed that Chief Akande places high premium on integrity and truthfulness. It will not be otherwise indeed. Many say President Buhari and Chief Bisi Akande are two of a kind.
Whenever Baba Konde's name is mentioned, it is in company of words like integrity, courage, principle.
His honesty saved him several times in his life.
The message inherent in the autobiography and the need for other statements to allow the autobiographies to be published was also mentioned. The event featured review and presentation of the 545-page book. In Lagos, Musa Tolian, NTA News.
The United States of America has expressed readiness to assist the Nigerian Air Force in the development of its air-ground integration school, while also building the capacity of staff and instructors. The Adjutant General of the California National Guard, General David Baldwin, made the commitment during a courtesy visit to headquarters Nigerian Air Force. General Baldwin also expressed the desire to support NAF in improving its safety plans and strategies towards enhancing its intelligence gathering skills, towards improving airborne and ground systems. General Baldwin was received by the Chief of Policy and Plans, Air Vice Marshal Regimus Eke, who, on behalf of the Chief of the Air Staff, thanked the U.S. for supporting Nigeria, notably in the areas of delivering the Super Tucanos, logistics support, gender balancing, and capacity building. And in a related development, Nigeria is partnering the United States of America through the California National Guard to build the capacity of firefighters in Nigeria on prompt management of disasters. Abdurrahman Jibrila reports.
The American visitors are here to support Nigeria with the best techniques required by international standards in managing fire disaster. And the federal government is thinking out of the box to further discuss and exchange ideas on how to improve the firefighting capacity of its firemen.
I've already entered the Nigerian Air Force to develop a skill with fire service in such a way that we can retrofit some of their aircraft.
And it's actually an area that is very well funded on the U.S. side, so we could look for opportunities to talk about the roles of females in government, the roles of females in the uniformed services, and how we can further that and how we can benefit from that by having a different approach and a different look for problem solving.
The interface is expected to spur officers and make them better prepared towards fire rescue missions. Abdurrahman Jibrila, NTA News.
And the National Center for the Control of Small Arms and Light Weapons is engaging security experts to strategize on the prevention of illegal weapons in the country. To this end, a one-day forum was held in Abuja. Francis Fom reports.
From security records, an estimated 6 million arms and light weapons are in circulation, that is, in private hands. Being in private hands means used as drivers for conflict, increasing the security burden of the nation. Reversing this trend is the challenge before the National Center for the Control of Small Arms and Light Weapons, and this gathering is to bat a new approach in curbing this trend.
It is our fervent belief that by committing to support the National Center for the Control of Small Arms and Light Weapons, you will be enhancing state capacity to combat the threat of small arms and light weapon proliferation for the collective good of Nigeria, the sub-region, and our global society.
Gathering like this permits the exchange of information that would facilitate stakeholders in the sector in providing evidence-based strategic planning, deliver more targeted and tailored interventions.
Aminu Lawal, who stood in for the National Security Advisor, is worried that arms proliferation fuels terrorism, inter- and intra-communal crisis, so must be addressed squarely.
This disturbing report is therefore a call to action to roll back the menace of proliferation and reclaim our security space.
Preventing armed conflict and building sustainable peace based on respect for human rights cannot be achieved without addressing the wide-reaching harm caused to civilians by small arms and light weapons.
Members of the diplomatic corps are ready to support Nigeria to put an end to transborder crime. Francis from NTA News.
Information and Culture Minister Lai Mohammed has joined his counterparts overseeing the creative industry from across the world at a high-level ministerial meeting to discuss the future of the sector for sustainable economic growth at the ongoing Dubai Expo 2020 in a post-COVID-19 era. Anthony Forson reports.
After the maiden World Conference on Creative Economy hosted in Indonesia in 2018, policymakers, industry players have converged on Dubai in the United Arab Emirates to exchange ideas, resolve challenges, and identify opportunities within the economy. So, as United Arab Emirates hosts the second edition, the global community of entrepreneurs joined world-leading speakers and policymakers in an engagement that will help build a future for the sector. Lai Mohammed, who led the Nigerian delegation, speaks.
Immediately the pandemic struck, most countries had to rejig and restructure their economy. And you know what we did in Nigeria was immediately the COVID-19 came and realized that the price of petroleum product dropped from about $50 to almost $10. We went back to National Assembly with a new budget. Of course, the idea and the result was that look at those vulnerable aspects of the economy that needed support. And that is why zeroed on the small and medium enterprises, and there were survivor funds for the industry. Some got what we call salary support. Some got one-off grant, and in an attempt to cushion the effect of COVID-19. That was actually what most of the countries also said they did.
For Nigeria, Lai Mohammed expressed satisfaction that Nigeria has set the pace with its post-COVID-19 pandemic interventions.
We realized once again that Nigeria has actually gotten it right. That is why this unprecedented collaboration between the federal government and the central bank and the bankers committee on the other hand, it's an innovation, because with about $100 million being invested in that, venture, without the federal government, putting down a penny and without laying off any worker, it becomes a model for the world to copy.
His counterpart from the United Arab Emirates, Noura Al-Kabi, Minister for Culture and Youth, spoke in line of the Nigerian minister.
We discussed the importance of the creative economy, the legislative framework, the opportunities, the IP protection, digital for creatives. We also developed an agenda for next year to be discussed in Bali 2022. I would like to highlight that such a collaborative discussion is really important. Such discourse with our stakeholders is helping to cement the importance of the creative industries and how they contribute to the GDP.
She maintained that the strategy to be adopted encompasses natural and cultural heritage. In Dubai, Anthony Forson, NTA News.
And it's time to take some messages. We'll be right back.
The Presidential Steering Committee, in collaboration with the Federal Ministry of Health and the National Primary Healthcare Development Agency, has approved the administration of booster doses for persons that have completed 2 doses of AstraZeneca, Moderna, Pfizer-BioNTech, or 1 dose of Johnson & Johnson. The eligibility criteria for a booster dose include any person 18 years and above, time interval of 6 months and more after receiving the 2nd dose of AstraZeneca, Moderna, or Pfizer-BioNTech, time interval of 2 months or more after receiving the Johnson & Johnson vaccine. Visit the nearest health facility or mass vaccination site for your booster dose from 10th December 2021 across all states of the Federation. The list of the vaccination sites is available on the NPHCDA website, www.nphcda.gov.ng. For greater protection against COVID-19, go get the booster dose now. For more information, contact the NPHCDA COVID-19 call center on 070 0220 1122 for assistance. This message is from the National Primary Healthcare Development Agency.
There's a saying that Christmas is what you make of it. At Bedmates Furniture, we enjoy making your Christmas comfortable and exciting with the furniture we provide you. That's why from 1st November to 18 December 2021, Bedmates offers you and your loved ones amazing luxury furniture your home loves and truly needs at up to 70% discount. You also stand a chance to win fridges, TVs, washing machines, and many more as we keep making your living better through the furniture you love.
Invitation to a public hearing and call for memoranda on a bill for an act to repeal the Customs and Excise Management Act, Cap C45, LFN 2004, and to enact an act to establish the Nigeria Customs Service Act 2021. All submissions should be forwarded to Suite 2.01, House of Representatives Building, on or before Monday, 13th December 2021. Public hearing date, 14th December 2021. Venue, Conference Room 028. Time, 11 a.m. Major critical stakeholders to attend are Nigeria Customs Service, NCS, Federal Ministry of Finance, Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN, Association of Nigeria Licensed Custom Agents, ANLCA, National Association of Government-Approved Freight Forwarders, NAGAF, Nigeria Association of Chambers of Commerce, Industry, Mines and Agriculture, NASIMA, Terminal Operators and Bonded Terminal Operators. Honorable Leki Abejide, Chairman, House Committee on Customs and Excise, Announcer.
The Honorable Minister of Communications and Digital Economy and Chairman of the National Council on Communications and Digital Economy, Professor Isa Ali Ibrahim Pantami, invites all council members and stakeholders to the 9th meeting of the National Council on Communications and Digital Economy, NCCDE, which will be declared open and presided over by him on Monday, 13th December 2021. Theme: Utilizing Digital Technology to Accelerate Economic Recovery in a COVID-19 Era and Beyond. The technical sessions of the NCCDE will start tomorrow, Friday, 10th December 2021. Time 9 a.m. daily. Venue: Naoa Event Center, Mambila Barracks, Asokoro, Abuja. Council members are hereby invited to attend all the sessions preceding the official opening ceremony. Mr. Bitrus Bako Nabasu, Permanent Secretary, Announcer.
Gender-based violence is a gross violation of women and girls' fundamental human rights.
Women and girls have been denied their basic human rights.
In Nigeria, 9% of women aged 15 to 49 have suffered sexual violence.
Providing access to gender-based violence services enables us to fulfill the SDG goal number 5.
All women and girls must have access to reproductive health services.
I called on government, religious and community leaders to adopt the culture of zero gender-based violence and harmful practices.
Thanks for staying with us. One of the major factors interfering with the control and ownership of content in the broadcast industry is the invasion of pirates without compliance with regulatory frameworks. This is why the Nigerian Television Authority is leveraging on its 2021 Annual Management Conference to amplify the danger the practice poses to its operations. Abubakar Akwanga reports.
The gathering here is an annual tradition by the NTA to practically engage top management staff nationwide for thorough assessment of its targets and to project into the future with renewed commitment. But the 2021 platform is coming with a paradigm shift. This time, the management is taking ultimate measure to protect its space in the broadcast ecosystem against infiltration of pirates.
The first owner of the web, barring any agreements to the contrary, the first owner of the web will be the author of that web. You have a right to protection property
Abdullahi Garba Bernankodo is the general manager of NTA Duse and determined to apply the knowledge acquired to protect NTA content from external influencers.
When we go back to our stations, we are educated on how to avoid impinging on intellectual property of other people and also protecting NTA intellectual property.
We have a huge resource pool as NTA. And believe me, most of our intellectual works are not protected. People come and take our work and they turn it into theirs.
Members of NTA management are looking at a way of making sure that we don't lose out in anything we venture into, and we don't lose out in anything we are venturing into.
The task here may appear daunting, but these managers say operationalizing resolutions reached is a signature on their palms, which can only be erased when the mission is accomplished. In Abuja, Abubakar Akwanga, NTA News.
A 5-year strategic plan has been unveiled by the Ministry of Interior to address frequent attacks on correctional centers across the country. Abdurrahman Jibrila reports that the plan also targets developing internal security and public safety.
Improving Nigeria's preparedness in public safety is what brought stakeholders in the Interior Ministry here in Ilorin, Kwara State to give a final touch on the 5-year strategic plan.
That our preparedness so far, whether we prepared or not, the outcome has shown that there is a gap. And that gap is the disparity between the time of crime and the time of response.
The onus therefore rests on the Ministry of Interior as the organ of government responsible for fostering and ensuring the maintenance of internal security and citizenship integrity to deliver on its mandate for the promotion of good governance in the nation.
Frequent attacks on correctional facilities are some of the issues the meeting seeks to address.
From military to the police to the DSS and all other agencies to ensure that adequate protection is given to our facilities.
The second ministerial retreat of the Interior Ministry is expected to reflect on the mission of the ministry and set a tone towards securing the nation. In Ilorin, Kwara State, Abdurrahman Jibrila, NTA News.
ECOWAS leaders are worried over the wave of attacks in the Sahel, citing latest killings in Nigeria, Niger, Mali and Burkina Faso as recurring incidents of serious concern. This was at the 87th meeting of the Council of Ministers of the bloc in Abuja. Usman Aliu reports.
Many of citizens of ECOWAS who died in those circumstances.
Leaders in the ECOWAS region in a minute silence for victims of the senseless killings by bandits, a dangerously labeled terrorist group in Nigeria, which attacked innocent travelers near Niger's border of Sabon Birni, Sokoto State.
And our collective determination to move forward have enabled us to improve our resilience in facing both the health and security shocks.
As the ministers prepare documents to enhance integration that will improve security, peace and economic development, President of the ECOWAS Commission, Jean-Claude Cassibrou, expressed optimism that the region will overcome the challenges.
We will consider, as we did in the past, several issues affecting critical areas of the community through reports and memoranda that have been placed on our agenda.
The bloc meets regularly to address challenges affecting the region. Usman Aliu, NTA News.
In the meantime, the Defense Media Operation says more than 190 Boko Haram and Islamic State of West Africa province and their families have surrendered to troops in Borno State, while 20 of their members were neutralized with superior weapons. This was revealed during DMO weekly briefing and progress in different theaters of operation across the country. Director of Defense Media Operations explained that operations Hadarindaji, Safe Haven, Wild Stroke and others have continued to succeed in neutralizing terrorists and other criminal syndicates in the country.
Encounter. It's noteworthy to mention here that 20 kidnapped personnel of the Nigerian police force who were abducted when the terrorists attacked their police division were rescued by own troops at Buniyadi.
Defense media operations also disclosed that many weapons and ammunition were recovered and kidnapped victims, including rustled livestock, recovered. The House of Representatives has urged the Ministry of Aviation to improve safety in the country's airspace by upgrading the radar coverage equipment. The equipment aids air traffic controllers access image of aircraft. National Assembly correspondent Lami Ali reports.
The issue was raised in a motion by Representative Ahmed Munir, in which he referred to information from Nigerian Airspace Management Agency. Thus, the equipment has not been upgraded since 2015, following the termination of the contract. The House notes that in the event of breakdown, air traffic controllers will have to resort to manual procedure, which could be inaccurate.
The president of the Nigerian Air Traffic Controllers Association has cautioned that owing to poor maintenance and lack of spare parts, Prakan has become flawed in functionalities, thereby endangering flight operations in the country.
The motion from Representative Mohammed Bargaja, urging authorities to stop killings and destruction of property in parts of Sokoto State, was adopted. Also adopted was the appeal from Representative Musa Pali on the need to construct Bauchi-Gombe Road, and that of Ahmed Yusuf, calling on authorities to provide modern means of water transportation to communities to prevent accidents, citing recent boat mishap in Kano, which led to the deaths of 42 persons. The bill seeking amendments of Labour Act to enable provision of creche at places of work, sponsored by Representative Sergio Zogun, passed second reading.
Availability of creches in workplaces will allow nursing mothers to resume work and still be able to breastfeed their babies as recommended by World Health Organization and UNICEF.
Also passed at second reading was the bill from Representative Tijani Kayode to establish Forensic Science University of Nigeria.
Enhance Nigeria's anti-fraud mechanism through the provision of a legal framework for the study, development, discipline for forensic science.
The bill to establish Chartered Institute of Business Educators from Representative Henry Achibong passed second reading as plenary. From the National Assembly, Lami Ali, NTA News.
First Lady of Nigeria, Aisha Buhari, is encouraging well-meaning individuals and the organized private sector to invest in the health sector to complement government's efforts towards improving the general well-being of the citizens. The First Lady was speaking at the inauguration of the Professor Felicia Anuma Diabetes and Endocrine Center at the University of Abuja Teaching Hospital. State House correspondent Aliu Kabir reports.
Professor Anuma Diabetes and Endocrine Center was constructed and furnished by the Office of the Senior Special Assistant to the President on Sustainable Development Goals, in line with SDGs 1, 3, and 4. The idea is to reduce mortality rate attributed to cardiovascular disease, cancer, diabetes, or chronic respiratory disease. The First Lady of Nigeria, Aisha Buhari, inaugurated the facility named after the female professor of endocrinology, Felicia Anuma, of the University of Abuja. The center is expected to provide specialist clinical care to patients with endocrine disorders and also serves as a training hub for research activities.
With the establishment of this center, it is hoped that more awareness will be created on the negative health impact on some of the endocrine disorders and the need for early diagnosis. I recommend for an awareness campaign on endocrine disorders and a mandatory screening for women as part of routine antenatal care services. I also recommend for the screening of children within 72 hours of birth in order to allow for early diagnosis and timely intervention.
The center is equipped with state-of-the-art facilities, including dual 120-seater lecture seminar room, 4-bed wards for both male and female, treatment rooms, pharmacy, and endocrine laboratory.
Looking at the number of fatalities from hypertension, cardiovascular disease, diabetes, and so on. So the idea to start this center is excellent. Welcome.
This commitment is translated into 17 Sustainable Development Goals, 169 targets, and 230 key performance indicators.
The First Lady of Nigeria, Dr. Mrs. Aisha Buhari, is interested in endocrine disorders, especially thyroid diseases. This interest has made her to support the establishment of this center, the first of its kind in Nigeria, as my Vice Chancellor has just said.
The First Lady emphasized the need for proper management of the facility to enable Nigerians achieve maximum benefit from it. I am Aliu Kabir, NTA News.
Nigeria's true independence would be achieved only when the nation becomes self-reliant in science and engineering to proffer solutions and innovate technologies that meet the country's needs. This was the position of outstanding award recipients who were distinguished for exceptional performance in various endeavors in the country. Justin Bemui reports the award was at the instance of the Joint Action Congress of the National Agency for Science and Engineering Infrastructure, NASENI.
19 of them were identified for excellent performances and efforts that in one way or the other have contributed to the repositioning of science and technology in the country.
NASENI remains a major player in the technological transformation and upliftment of this great nation. Therefore, no investment on NASENI can be too much.
With an appreciation to the federal government's recent approval of the remittance of 1% federation account as NASENI's statutory fund, these personalities who are the awardees believe that once implemented, the agency will be in a better position to begin to start an intense research in science and technology to proffer solutions to the nation's needs, as time has come for Nigeria and Africa to end dependence on the foreign community for technologies.
Until Africans realize that they must come together and create this isobarism, create this isolationism, where we isolate ourselves from the foreign dependence. There is nothing like foreign direct investment, and no foreigner can come and develop your nation. The only person who can develop your nation is yourself.
This award is by the workers' leadership. So that is a justification that they are committed to work harder, to do more.
As the Joint Action Congress of the NASENI appreciates and awards contributions of key players, the organization applauds the leadership of the agency for its policies and initiatives that have ensured staff development and welfare. Justin Bemungi, NTA News.
A non-governmental organization, Whitefield and Coca-Cola Foundation, are lending support towards achieving the federal government's target of lifting 100 million Nigerians out of poverty within 10 years. Ihanasu Hassan Barrow reports that the duo are empowering 60,000 women and youths in Kano State.
Data from the National Bureau of Statistics indicates that youth form more than 70% of Nigeria's population. However, the group takes larger share of unemployed in the country. Considering the population of Kano and the numerous commercial activities in the state, the Whitefield is collaborating with Coca-Cola Foundation to create 20,000 jobs to youth and women in Kano. Ismail Aliyu and his partners are lucky to be among those to undergo training on various skills ranging from domestic essentials production, GSM repairs, tailoring, hairdressing, among other businesses.
So excited because this is a very good move, especially here in Kano. The youth, a lot of us are just at home.
Project Equipping Kano State will adopt an integrative and hybrid approach through collective partnership with private sector, non-governmental organizations, and government at all levels.
We know they have a lot of young people, and because over 2020, we had empowered a lot of people around Lagos and the West, we believe that dedicating that number will be quite significant to close the gap for the northern region.
With pace
special attention also to agriculture, because we understand that there's so many things attached to the agricultural food chain, not just the farmers.
Was drawn because of that matter, Samodogra, where we took over 10,000 people off the street, 10,000 young men off the street. We empower them with money, we empower them with kit, we empower them with all things that will make them to be economically active.
Happy with the development brought to Kano State, the Mayor of Kano Aminu Ado Bayero honored the Chief Executive Officer of Whitefield Foundation, Fumi Johnson, with the title of Garkuwar Matan Dala. In Kano, Yohannes Hassan, NTA News.
And Hingino in Lagos has the next set of reports. Hingino.
Thank you, Cyril. The construction and successful induction of a seaworld defense boat 3 by the Nigerian Navy is one huge win for the country in its local content promotion drive. As a country in dire need of more in terms of technological advancement, is this inspiring feat enough to drive Nigeria's industrial and commercial revolution? Michael Olale seeks the answers in this report.
The Navy, as the maritime component of the armed forces, are said to be synonymous with ships, which represents an indispensable asset for the protection of our nation's maritime domain. Although the Nigerian Navy was formed in 1956, the country was quick enough to acquire a shipyard in 1965, which it turned to a naval dockyard in 1969 for the purpose of dry docking and ship repairs. This dockyard has now transformed to the premier engineering hub of the Nigerian Navy, its call of duty going beyond maintenance to ship building.
We have a model to learn from, which is SDB1. So we were able to leverage on the knowledge and the technical know-how that we acquired while building the first SDB.
Now, any doubt about the Navy's capacity to construct warships for the naval fleet using local content has been cleared with the successful construction of Seaworld Defense Boat 3, while the queue of Seaworld Defense Boat 4 and 5 has already been laid by the President.
Evidently, the experience garnered so far, the Naval Dockyard Limited is adequately poised to take on this challenge in pursuit of the federal government of Nigeria's local content development effort.
With a solid template to build on, the future of shipbuilding in Nigeria is bright, and building bigger ships for use and exports is one of the plans.
Nigerians should expect, more and better, productions of this kind of vessel and even more. We are looking forward to building bigger ships that will be able to patrol in our exclusive economic zones.
With the commitment of the federal government to developing homegrown technology, it will be sooner than later when local content will really drive the market. In Lagos, Michael Olale, NTA News.
35 packages of explosives seized by the customs due to the inability of the importer to produce the end-user certificate have been handed over to the Police Explosives Ordnance Disposal Unit for destruction. The Customs Area Controller at the Murtala Mohammed Airport, Sambo Dangaladima, described the move as an indication that the service is contributing its quota to curbing insecurity. Michael Olale once again reports.
The explosives came in as helium compressors, cartridges power, and radioactive materials between 2017 and 2019 with 9 different airway bills. And based on their highly sensitive nature, they were kept in the dangerous rooms of Sako and Nako Shed till date. The decision to hand them over to the Explosive Ordnance Disposal Unit came after the customs secured their condemnation. The Customs Area Controller at the Murtala Mohammed Airport said the dangerous nature of the items did not allow for 100% examination to ascertain the number of PCs contained in each package.
When you want to do importation of this magnitude, you have to follow the due process. Before you even bring them in, do your documentation. Do the needful, and then you move on. Nobody will disturb you. But when we don't know the owners, we definitely have to seize it.
We evacuate for demolition.
There is a renewed effort to get rid of acts detrimental to trade facilitation at the airport, and this has resulted in the interception of fake drugs which came in with 5 different airway bills and value put at close to 50 million naira. The controller also handed them over to the National Agency for Food and Drug Administration and Control, NAVDAC.
We know what it takes when you take a fake drug. It can affect your liver, it can affect your kidney. At the end of the day, you will be hearing that you will go for transplant for disease you don't know.
Like I saw glucophage here for treatment of diabetes, which if we don't get the drug right, it can degenerate to a lot of diseases. So getting this today is a plus.
This collaboration among agencies within the airport community is not just checking the smuggling of suspicious products, but removing constraints to trade facilitation. In Lagos, Michael Olaleye, NTA News.
It's time for another break. The news will be back shortly.
May all your dreams come true this Christmas.
We want to thank you for coming on this journey with us, walking with us, staying with us. Now, as we move, we want to invite you to own a share of this new adventure with us. Buy your share of MTN through the issuing houses, stockbrokers, banks, and primary offer app by Nigerian Exchange NGX. Welcome to the journey of a lifetime.
Are you interested in getting your products or services to more people, expanding your business, becoming more profitable, and a leader in your industry? If yes, then simply open a Zenith Bank SME Grow My Business account and get the extra edge you need. Visit any of our branches today to get your Grow My Business account or www.zenithbank.com/SME to learn more.
For those wondering if the new Schweppes Zobo tastes as good as they say it does, experience tells us. Try it. Find out for yourself. Introducing new Schweppes Zobo, made with over 200 years of experience.
There's a saying
saying that Christmas is what you make of it. At Bedmates Furniture, we enjoy making your Christmas comfortable and exciting with the furniture we provide you. That's why from 1st November to 18 December 2021, Bedmates offers you and your loved ones amazing luxury furniture your home loves and truly needs at up to 70% discount. You also stand a chance to win fridges, TVs, washing machines, and many more as we keep making your living better through the furniture you love.
How to make a perfect bowl of love? A perfect blend of taste that brings every ingredient to life. The fusion of different spices. The unique aroma that rejuvenates your senses. The heart-warming deliciousness. And the satisfaction that comes from every bite, which makes you say, I love my Indomie.
It's a trip back to Anfield for Steven Gerrard as he takes his new team to face the Reds. This Saturday, it's Liverpool versus Aston Villa on the Premier League Live, showing on the network service of the NTA from 3:30 p.m. The Premier League Live is brought to you by Baba Ijebu and powered by Integral.
All right, we're back in Abuja. Benny Adams talking business. Benny?
Thank you, Cyril, and welcome to business. We'll start by telling you that increased vaccination and utilization of local manufacturing of consumable commodities for product availability have been described as part of the solution to the global supply chain disruptions occasioned by effects of COVID-19. This is the submission of experts as they prefer solution to global supply chain disruptions amid global efforts towards recovery.
So we shift from more, let's say, global sourcing towards more local sourcing. On the other hand, then we talk also about availability, and it also takes a bit of time to actually implement local production capacities. So this is why we always have in logistics and supply chain a little bit of a time gap. So we very often react to kind of issues, what's happening in manufacturing, what's happening in global trade.
And the Small and Medium Enterprises Development Agency, under its National Business Skills Development Initiative for young graduates and those about to graduate, have expended more than 1.2 billion naira in training and empowering 5,346 beneficiaries from 36 states of the Federation and the FCT in confectionery, fashion design, hairdressing and aluminium fabrication, among other skills. Director General Smaden disclosed this at the agency's board meeting in Abuja.
We are hoping to go away to reach up to about 10,000 beneficiaries next year. And we are expecting each and every one of them to employ at least 1 or 2 persons into the business, so that we take about, it means invariably we are taking about 15,000 Nigerian young men and women out of the street.
Market investors lost 391.32 billion naira as all-share index dipped by minus 1.77% as market closed at 41,685.22 basis points, with market capitalization at 21.7 trillion naira. 473.4 million shares worth 5.1 billion naira were traded in 3,874 million deals. Market breadth closed positive as Wando led 21 gainers as against 14 losers, topped by Dangote Cement. The financial services industry led the activity table with FBNH, Axis and Sterling Bank as most active, just as FBNH and Zenith Bank topped market value list. That is business news, but network news continues in Port Harcourt with Doris. Doris, you can take it from here.
Welcome to Port Harcourt. The former governor of Ondo State, Olusegun Mimiko, has described Governor Nyesom Wike as a man who has demonstrated leadership in piloting the affairs of the state through various infrastructural developments. Dr. Mimiko stated this while inaugurating the Rumola flyover constructed by the Rivers State government. Ogedi Nyekwere reports.
Before the construction of the Rumola flyover, it used to be a single carriage bridge, which became inadequate for the volume of traffic in the city. These inadequacies gave rise to the constant gridlock experienced within the area. To address this, a second bridge was built, which has redefined the landscape of Rumola and made commuting easy for the motoring public. Former Governor of Ondo State, Olusegun Mimiko, said Governor Wike has proved worthy of his sobriquet as Mr. Project.
You have deployed your limitless energy by this accomplishment to demonstrate that governance is a means to an end, and that end, unarguably, unequivocally, is the improvement in the lives of the people.
Governor Wike says the construction of 9 flyovers in 2 years has demonstrated the commitment of his administration and love for the people of Rivers State. He emphasized that every promise made by his administration will be fulfilled and that every money borrowed by his administration is justified with the ongoing projects and those completed.
Let anybody, let EFCC, let anybody come and probe whether these contracts are real or not. Rivers people are seeing it. Where is your money? I can say, go to Rumola flyover. Where is your money? I can say, go to Chiari flyover. Where is your money? I can say, go to Abale flyover. Where is your money? I can say, go to Robisi flyover.
With the inauguration of Rumola flyover, the commuting public will now heave a sigh of relief as they will experience free flow of traffic. In Port Harcourt, Oge Dinyekwe, NTA News.
Leaders of various ethnic groups and cultures in Nigeria have lauded Governor Ben Ayade for proffering lasting solution to the conflict between farmers and herders in the country. This was when the group visited him in Government House, Calabar. Paul Ibe reports.
The giant king grass is Governor Ben Ayade's solution to permanently resolve the conflict between farmers and herdsmen, which has been ongoing for several years, leading to destruction of lives and property. The giant king grass, after planting, gets matured within a short period of time and can serve as pasture for cattle, which will curtail the nomadic lifestyle of cattle rearers as well as reduce incessant clashes with farmers.
And ask myself, if indeed open grazing is coming with its attendant consequence, the sociology and anthropology unacceptable, we must find a way to create a mix and balance between the herders and the farmers. And that's the essence of being a leader.
We want to thank the governor and people of Cross River State because the issue of herders-farmers crisis could have rocked this country, and the solution came from Cross River State.
Governor Ben Ayade was also applauded for his agricultural transformation policy, and the people of Cross River State urged to work with him to achieve desired goals for the state. In Calabar, Paul Abel, NTA News.
That's our bit from here. Network News continues in Abuja with Cyril.
Armed Forces Remembrance Day celebration is here again. The Nigerian Armed Forces work tirelessly day and night to give us peace to go about our businesses. Some have paid the supreme price. Should we forget the families and loved ones they left behind? No.
I am therefore privileged to honor these veterans who devoted most of their lives, active lives, to securing the nation and the world at large.
So, let's support the Nigerian Armed Forces and their families, corporate organizations, government agencies, parastatals, and individuals. Let's show our love and support for our armed forces. They are our heroes. Buy the Armed Forces Remembrance Emblem and donate into the Armed Forces Remembrance Emblem Appeal account. We love you, and your labor and sacrifice will not be in vain for spilling your blood for us to live.
African Cup of Nations starts on the 9th of January 2022 on NTA, powered by Afrosports. For sponsorship and advertisements, contact us on 090-9890-6913 or 090-3513-2838.
It's a trip back to Anfield for Steven Gerrard as he takes his new team to face the Reds. This Saturday, it's Liverpool versus Aston Villa on the Premier League Live, showing on the network service of the NTA from 3:30 p.m. The Premier League Live is brought to you by Baba Ijebu and powered by Integral.
President Muhammadu Buhari has described the killing of Katsina State Commissioner of Science and Technology, Dr. Rabi Nasser, as a heinous and condemnable act, adding that there is no place for such violence in our country. The president said he is deeply anguished by the tragic killing of this up-and-coming leader who had served his community, state, and the nation with utmost diligence. He urged the law enforcement agencies to do a thorough investigation and bring to justice all those who are behind the crime. In the meantime, Katsina State Commissioner of Police Sanusi Buba says investigation into the killing of the State Commissioner for Science and Technology, Dr. Rabi Nasser, has commenced. Sanusi Buba, who was speaking to newsmen at the scene of the incident, said an arrest in connection with the killing has been effected. The police commissioner also said the body of the deceased has been evacuated to the Federal Medical Center, Katsina, for medical investigation.
The suspect has been arrested and investigation has commenced. And the corpse has been evacuated to the Federal Medical Center. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
And the families of Amokwe Acharauturu have commenced the burial rites of His Royal Highness Eze Cyril Elesim Ibe, the Okwelube I of Amokwe Acharauturu. A program released by Professor Gregory Ikechukwu Ibe shows that the funeral mass and burial will take place on Friday, the 10th of December, while condolences will be received on Saturday, the 11th, before a Thanksgiving on Sunday, the 12th. And that concludes Network News tonight. Remember to stand with the NTA against rape and rapists. I'm Cyril Stover. Good night.
This is the network service of the NTA.
I'm the Chief Resident Engineer and Project Supervisor of the Second Niger Bridge Project. The Second Niger Bridge Project is a project that has been conceived for a very long time, but it has finally come to life during this present administration. This project has a lot of socio-economic benefits, and it has impacted positively on the lives of the host communities, both in Anambra State and Delta State. The people are very happy. The host communities, they partnered with us because apart from the social benefits, indigenes are also employed on this project. We can see how their lives are being improved.
This message is from the Federal Ministry of Information and Culture.
The 2022 Armed Forces Remembrance Day celebration is here again. The Nigerian Armed Forces work tirelessly day and night to give us peace to go about our businesses. Some have paid the supreme price. Should we forget the families and loved ones they left behind? No.
I am therefore privileged to honor these veterans who devoted most of their lives, active lives, to securing the nation and the world at large.
So, let's support the Nigerian Armed Forces and their families, corporate organizations, government agencies, parastatals, and individuals. Let's show our love and support for our armed forces. They are our heroes. Buy the Armed Forces Remembrance Emblem and donate into the Armed Forces Remembrance Emblem Appeal account. We love you, and your labor and sacrifice will not be in vain for spilling your blood for us to live.
The counsel of our fathers.
My advice to these young people is please do not take us back to those harrowing days. You probably do not know what it is.
Nigerian youths, let's build our nation together.
It's a trip back to Anfield for Steven Gerrard as he takes his new team to face the Reds. This Saturday, it's Liverpool versus Aston Villa on the Premier League Live, showing on the network service of the NTA from 3:30 p.m. The Premier League Live is brought to you by Babai Jebu and powered by Integral.
Go to court. We have power to convict people. Those people who are doing bad, if you let us know, we'll take care of them.
Don't touch, don't touch. It's fake. Don't touch, don't touch. It's bad. Don't touch, don't touch. It hurts. Don't touch, don't touch. It destroys. Don't touch, don't touch. It kills. You should know where to go. The SOS.
We will not be daunted by incessant harassment and attack on our officials and other facilities by some unscrupulous and illegal businessmen who pretend to be traders. Director General of the Standards Organization of Nigeria, Malam Farouk Salim, declares as he vows to clean the markets. Lagos Business School bags the prestigious SON ISO 9001-2015 Quality Management System Certificate, the very first tertiary institution in Nigeria to receive that award. It's another opportunity to talk product quality and safety on television, courtesy of the Standards Organization of Nigeria. Season's greetings to you, our esteemed viewers. My name is Ifenyua Okonkwo. Welcome to the program.
Don't touch, don't touch. It's fake. Don't touch, don't touch. It's bad. Don't touch, don't touch. It hurts. Don't touch, don't touch. It destroys. Don't touch, don't touch. It kills.
These are substandard products. They are dangerous to human lives and have negative effects on the nation's economy. We work round the clock in search of these products, and wherever we find them, we destroy them. We are committed to the war against substandard and fake products.
We have power to prosecute, to go to court. We have power to convict people. Those people who are doing bad, if you let us know, we'll take care of them.
We are the Standards Organization of Nigeria. Join us on Standard and You, your guide to product quality and safety.
The program you're watching is Standard and You, your guide to product quality and safety. Last week, we told you that some unscrupulous businessmen prevented our officials from evacuating substandard tires from the popular Apple tire market in Abuja. They destroyed our vehicles, attacked our men, and even the security officers that accompanied the officials of the SON on that assignment. Worried by this ugly development, the Director General of the Standards Organization of Nigeria has assured that those who perpetrated that illegal act will be made to face the full wrath of the law.
That was a stiff resistance by traders at the Adire market in Abuja officials of the agency were confronted with, while on a mission to evacuate a large number of substandard tires. It was a sad and reprehensible act by the traders that would have degenerated to loss of lives, but for the wisdom by the enforcement team to leave the scene of the chaotic situation.
With combined security of about 70 drawn from the DSS, police and civil defense, we wanted to do this raid simultaneously at 3 locations in the FCT. But lo and behold, we came under heavy and very serious attack, including guns, that eventually our personnel were wounded, the security agents were wounded. The security agents were determined that it should be done, but we had to advise that we should retreat to avoid casualties. Yes, we are trying to protect lives, so we should not be seen to destroy lives again. That's why we had to retreat so that we go and decide on what next to do.
Only last week, officials of a plastic-producing company refused to release sample of their products to men of the SON.
I was calling you, and you keep quiet again. Don't tell me to keep quiet. And you keep quiet again. You keep quiet yourself.
This disturbing trend has become a source of worry to the Director General of the Standards Organization of Nigeria. He told Standard & You that the agency will not be intimidated by the actions of the illegal, selfish and wicked importers and distributors of fake, substandard and counterfeit products. What happened at Adire market, he explained, will be investigated thoroughly with a view to fishing out those who masterminded that shameful act and prosecute them.
There are no laws in this country that will make used tire importation legal. The mob action was to scare our employees so that they don't do their jobs. The utterances of the people in the mob were very unfortunate. Standard Organization of Nigeria can go anywhere in the country to seek substandard items, to confiscate substandard items, to seek court injunctions to destroy them. It's our responsibility to do that. Unless the National Assembly change that law, nobody in this country will stop us from doing our job. No amount of intimidation, no amount of vandalism or lawlessness will stop us from doing our job. We'll just make sure next time we go, and there will be next times, a lot of them, we'll be prepared for the worst, because this is not going to be acceptable. People are dying in this country because of substandard items, and we're not going to sit idly and watch that. Consequences, you ask me, yes, we are going to court. We have videotapes of people who vandalize our vehicles. We have information, and we are doing some more working with DSS to get more information and backgrounds about all those people who attacked us. No amount of propaganda and wrong allegations will stop us from doing our jobs. We will take them to court, they'll be prosecuted, and they will be found guilty, because before we take anybody to court, we're going to have body of evidence to prove what they did was absolutely wrong.
Malam Salim stressed that adequate measures will be taken by the agency to protect its staff and security operatives on special assignments.
This trend will stop, I promise you that, because our employees will be protected. They are people's children. They have been to university. They are doing their job for their country. They are not foreigners. They are not aliens. In Son, we have all sorts of people. We have all ethnic groups, all religions in Son. So they are Nigerians, they are doing their job, and we will not accept any intimidation from anybody against our work. If you have a complaint about a Son employee or about the manner Son employees are behaving, you can formally report to the DG's office in Abuja, number 52 Lome Crescent, Zone 7, Wuse, or you can go to court and sue us. Then the court will send us documentation. We'll go to court and defend ourselves. We have Directorate of Legal in Son, and their job is not only to prosecute, but to defend our rightful actions in the country.
However, few days after the incident, the traders mobilized and staged a protest at the headquarters of the SON, an act which the DG describes as playing the victim. The DG categorically made it clear that the traders who have become attention seekers will be made to pay for their wrongdoings in accordance with the laws of the land.
Anybody who wants to follow the rules, even if they break the rules, as long as they are peaceful, we will help them to get their products accepted if it is possible. But if it is not possible, we'll explain to you why your products are not acceptable and we'll confiscate them and destroy them. This is what the law says. My responsibility is to help both traders and ordinary citizens in this country to do their job. And if this is impeded, I know from the president down in this country, they will support me, the agencies will support me in doing my job.
Meanwhile, the head of Surveillance, Inspectorate and Monitoring Unit of the SON, Issa Suleiman, has unsealed Reader Plastics factory in Lagos. He told Standard & U that the company has fulfilled all the conditions by the SON to be reopened for business and also tendered apologies for the infractions and harassment meted out to the SON.
We have come to agreement on compliance. They have written an apology.
Hello, sir.
Hello. General, Chief Executive of Standards Organization of Nigeria, Malam Farouk Salim, directed our team to come and reopen the company for their production. Those products at stake, that is the food grade products, the buckets and balls will no more be in production. Production of those products are suspended, and that was the agreement of the company. And then, secondly, there will be immediate processing of the MANCAP certification by the company. That is also another pledge. They also promise to comply with all other requirements by SON and the standards. Actually, SON encourages local production. So henceforth, the SON team, the experts, will work together with the company to see how to improve quality of their production, of their products, and see how they can completely comply with the requirements of the standard and other guidelines of Standards Organization of Nigeria.
An obviously remorse managing director of the company regretted the shameful act by some staff, which he said was unfortunate. Those who carried out the disgraceful act, he assured, will be sanctioned. The Chief Executive Officer, Reader Plastics, said the company is known for quality and will not compromise on standards. Working closely with the SON, he explained that Reader Plastics will continue to churn out quality products.
Reader National is an old company. We have never been having row with any government departments. We have a corporate image and we are reputable for our own identity. We have agreed with the SON that we'll cooperate with them, and then we have all the terms they gave. We have already started complying.
In a message, the Director General of the Standards Organization of Nigeria, Malam Farouk Salim, admonished owners of the company and other operators in the industry to be quality conscious and never circumvent standard procedures. It will be recalled that the factory was shut down on the 19th of November and opened for business on the 7th of December. No doubt, the cost of being out of business for almost 2 weeks is huge and one any serious-minded entrepreneur will not like to experience anymore.
Welcome back. We will bring you development on those stories as they unfold, and to a cherished story, this time in the world of education. Did you know that the Lagos Business School is now ISO 9001:2015 Quality Management System certified? And you know what? The school is the first tertiary institution to be awarded ISO certificate in Nigeria. Standard & U witnessed the presentation of the certificate to the school.
Congratulations, That was the Director General of the SON, Malam Farouk Salim, there presenting the ISO 9001:2015 Quality Management Certificate to the Dean, Lagos Business School, Professor Chris Ogbechi. It's a milestone and the result of dedication excellence and hard work by the management of the Lagos Business School. The Lagos Business School is in the league of less than 5% of business schools globally, with association to advance collegiate schools of business certification. A global ranking achieved through a careful and deliberate implementation of quality management system.
This affirms our dedication to providing quality education and service to our customers and stakeholders, as well as meeting all statutory and regulatory requirements. This prestigious award is a reward for the many years of dedication to service by our staff, faculty, students, and other stakeholders.
For the Director General of the SON, Malam Farouk Salim, who was not just elated by the incredible feats achieved by the LBS, but impressed by the school's conscious pursuit for academic excellence, he urged management of the school to see the ISO certification as a foundation to launch the institution to higher ranking in the League of Higher Institutions with Global Excellence.
Despite your achievement, let me remind you that the quest for excellence has no destination because quality is a moving target. I therefore challenge you to keep the system healthy and up to date in order to reap the continuous benefit of ISO approach to management. We will be contacting you, our clients and your clients at intervals on your performance to get assurances that you are living up to the expectation of improving continuously. This system, having been certified, has been placed on an annual surveillance audit to ensure continuous suitability and effectiveness of the implementation of the quality management system. In the course of the audit exercise, where non-conformances were observed and are effectively corrected within a specified time frame, you will retain your certification. However, the certificate will be withdrawn if the structures in place for the certification breakdown. I don't expect that to happen based on what I see. I like to point out that this is the first institution I've been where it's not only clean, all the items I've seen so far are working. Sometimes I ask myself when I look at this theater if this is in Nigeria or is somewhere else.
The SOM boss advised other tertiary institutions in the country to emulate the excellent and commendable service provided by the Lagos Business School by embracing quality management systems to be relevant in the global academic world.
No matter the kind of business you do, no matter the size of that business, this standard applies. You can take it to your family, the barber shop, anywhere. And so basically that standard has a certain set of clauses that addresses the basic management system of any organization, starting from identify little things like the issues that will affect your activity, both internal and external issue. You are looking at your stakeholders and all of that. And so once you identify those things, and then you looked at some of the risks that is associated with that, you have an internal system that you have disgruntled staff. How do you deal with that? What are the things that are likely going to do that will affect you delivering the ISO 9001 certification? So you looked at all of those things, and then you begin to plan. Planning, identifying, you look at personnel, how do you recruit, everything that has to do with resources. You take care of all of those things. You also need management commitment to it, which we call now leadership that drives it. The leadership has their own requirement also. Even when you are engaging outsiders, how do you intend to engage them, communicate with them, and then how do you want to also implement this process itself? There's a defined way. You looked at the requirement of the standard, address it, and tell us if the standard says this is what you're expected to do, how do you intend to approach it? And so by the time we deal with all the 10 clauses in that standard, you are talking about you have a system that have taken care of what it takes to have a good management system.
The DG, who took a tour of facilities at the Lagos Business School, expressed satisfaction at the quality of infrastructure and the general maintenance of the citadel of learning.
Agricultural processors and farmers in the country have been advised to adopt standard procedures to ensure quality yields for both local and international consumption. This was the focus of a stakeholder sensitization organized for farmers and processors in Kano State. Here are details of that exercise put together by the Securities and Exchange Commission and the Standards Organization of Nigeria.
The focus of this meeting was to expose farmers and stakeholders in the nation's agricultural sector to the benefits and processes of commodity trading, which started in Nigeria in 1947. The idea was to help the nation key into the global sustainable commodity market, while assuring participants of SON's resolve to partner with processors and farmers to improve commodity standards. The DG of the Standards Organization of Nigeria disclosed that such partnership will be in the areas of services and products aimed at developing new standards and renewing existing ones to give the nation a competitive edge. Such produce include corn, groundnut, maize, soybeans, rice, and wheat that are increasingly traded on globally.
The need of the federal government of Nigeria is towards making sure that our commodities, our agricultural commodities, and other commodities like mineral resources are standardized, and we focus on them because that's where the economy is. The majority of our GDP in this country for the economies among us is based on our agriculture. And this activity of standardization of commodities is just a path towards making sure our products are respected and accepted all over Africa, especially with this African Free Trade Area Agreement.
For the DG of the Securities and Exchange Commission, Alhaji Lamido Yuguda, there is an urgent need for stakeholders to ensure effectiveness, adoption and enforcement of appropriate standards. This, he said, will reduce drastically, if not eliminate, the rejection of Nigerian produce. He noted that the commodities exchange has the potential to efficiently link industries, create jobs, improve living standards, promote rural development, and enhance financial capacity of small farmers.
It is our belief that our gathering here today will chart a progressive course for the commodities ecosystem and the national economy. I therefore call on all participants to contribute positively to setting an enviable commodity standards agenda for Nigeria.
The Deputy Governor of Kano State, Alhaji Nasiru Yusuf Gawuna, commended efforts of SON and SEC for the sensitization.
Your collective buy-in of all stakeholders and the overreaching importance of formal commodities trading to the Nigerian economy. I'm confident that the outcome of this program will surely achieve its purpose.
The event brought together royal fathers, top government officials in Kano State, and stakeholders in agricultural sector.
Director General of the Standards Organization of Nigeria has restated commitment to provide operators of small businesses in the country with relevant technical support to help them grow. The DG gave this assurance when he received the first prize winner of the Medium, Small and Medium Enterprises Clinics Award in his office in Abuja. He described MSMEs as engine of growth of any nation with capacity to create wealth and job opportunities. He commended the Vice President, Professor Yemi Oshibajo, for initiating the clinic as a way of encouraging government agencies' interventions to grow small businesses. Malam Farouk commended the effort of the first prize winner, Ajia Zainab Ismaila, Director Zia Spices, for her hard work that earned her the first position. He encouraged her as an employer of labor to see herself as a role model by sharing her experiences with other women in the northeast of the country. The DG disclosed that the SON is building capacity for halal standards, adding that Products tested, measured, and certified by halal standards will help scale up products for exports to other parts of the world. Haja Zainab Ismaila expressed gratitude to the Director General and officials of the agency for the support to our company.
The Standards Organization of Nigeria, SON, brings a new lease of life to Nigeria SMEs. SON has put a greater premium on developing standards to improve made in Nigeria products for export. We have developed more standards for products like sesame, cocoa, gari, and more, courtesy of our accredited state-of-the-art laboratories. In keeping with the federal government's ease of doing business, SON has simplified its processes and turned around time for SUNCAP, MANCAP, and other certification processes. SON has intensified market surveillance, raids, and seizures to reduce substandard products in circulation, and offenders shall be prosecuted. Join SON in ridding our nation of substandard products. If you see something, say something. Standards Organization of Nigeria, improving lives through standards.
It's an all-important component of the motor vehicle. Without it, your car cannot function because it stores electricity to start and keep your car running. On Feedback segment today, I'll be sharing 5 standard tips on the car battery right after responding to your feedback. My name is Halimot Osifo. Welcome. Simon from Enugu says, SON should go to the markets to seize fake products. Producers keep original in the factories for your certification. We do, based on genuine information provided by patriotic Nigerians. Most enforcement activities we undertake are based on information received through our toll-free lines, email, and visits to our state offices nationwide. Tony from Port Harcourt says, my problem is all these electrical materials like bulb, changeover, lamp holder. There are lots of fake ones in the market. Please report to the nearest SON office with evidence of purchase and we shall take necessary actions. Anonymous message says, I watched your program and it's very interesting. Do you have a department that checks people who build substandard houses? Report suspected substandard buildings under construction to the nearest SON office. However, we will work with other relevant authorities to ascertain and enforce standards as well as prosecute verified standards infractions. Kola Oyekunle says, try to deliver Nigerians from all the substandard goods. May God help your agency. Amen. We'll intensify efforts to rid the nation of substandard products. Abubakar Sadiq from Edo says, I really appreciate your program on tire. God bless you. God bless you too, and we hope to serve you better. Now to 5 standard tips on the car battery. Buy brand new car batteries certified by the Standards Organization of Nigeria. Take your vehicle to points of purchase to ascertain compatibility, proper installation, and diagnostic tests when necessary. Clean and keep your car battery tightly fastened. Limit short rides as it prevents your car battery from being fully charged. Turn off all lights when you exit from your car and don't use electronics when your car engine is off. There you have it, 5 standard tips on car battery. And that's a wrap on this week's episode of Standard and You. 07059724455 is the number to send in your messages to with your full name and location. Thank you for watching and do join us next week for another interesting edition. As always, buy original, sell authentic, and use only the best. Thanks and have a great week.
Why you dey buy fake product, make you dey careful, no go damage your life. You've got one life to live. Buy original. You should know where to go. The SON.
This is the network service of the NTA.
Some days ago, the Senate passed a bill for the establishment of the National Sports Commission, NSC, for Nigeria. Many stakeholders insist that the solution to the challenge of sports development in Nigeria rests with the return of the National Sports Commission. But many questions now come up. How will this impact sports development? Why was the NSC abolished if it was considered so important? Will the new NSC exist side by side a sports ministry? Tonight, we shall attempt to answer some of these questions and more. I am Onome Obrute, sitting in for Mr. Speaker, who joins us live from Wasimi via Zoom. This is the Sports Parliament, coming to you live from the studios of NTA in Lagos tonight. After the break, we shall have the parliamentarians that are going to be on the show with us.
Have a conversation.
Welcome back.
Can you hear me?
All right.
We are going to have a
live from Wasimi, we have the Speaker of the Sports Parliament, Segun Odegbami. Mr. Speaker, are you there, please?
Yes, I am here, Onome.
Good to have you.
Nigerians.
Good to have you, Mr. Speaker. How is Wasimi?
Well, Wasimi is fine, except that you have picked on a subject that many people find uncomfortable to discuss. And I have a feeling that we are going to be the ones to actually trash out this very serious matter of the National Sports Commission. Some people just know about it, they didn't experience it, and so having a conversation on it is extremely difficult for them. But we'll give it our best shot. I was a participant, I enjoyed it, I experienced it as an athlete, I've experienced it as an administrator, and I've also seen it when it was abolished and we don't have it. So now that it is coming back, the consensus generally is that it is needed. But as you can see, we are only two parliamentarians on the show tonight. We have, interestingly, a friend who is trying to join us from Johannesburg. I hope he succeeds. Sachi Sheka. If he succeeds, then he will be our third partner. But for now, back to you, Onome.
All right, Mr. Speaker. Interestingly, this subject, National Sports Commission, is one that has given me so much challenges. It is a topic that I personally don't enjoy discussing because it gives me all sorts of emotional trauma. It makes me very, very disgruntled because I personally believe that having the sports minister is like we're duplicating the work of the sports ministry with the National Sports Commission. But Mr. Speaker, you have handled this before. You've been there. You've seen it through and through. So pray tell, educate Nigerians. Tell us, especially someone like me, convince us why you think this is the solution to our sports problems and challenges.
Well, to start with, it existed at the foundation of modern sports administration in Nigeria in the early 1970s. And how did it exist then? There was a Ministry of Sports, and yet there was a National Sports Commission. And the arrangement was a carbon copy of what happened at that time, what transpired in Western Germany at the time. It was Western Germany at the time. We just copied from Germany how they were running their sports. And that was one of the most successful countries in the world in terms of sports development at the time. So they were the ones that introduced the format of having a Ministry of Sports, which was, really, full of its usual bureaucracy. It is civil service oriented, but that's where the policies for sports are formulated. There was a national sports policy in place, which separated the functions of the ministry, the National Sports Commission, and what we always forget, the National Institute for Sports. We always forget that body. It was an integral part of sports development in the country, and it still should be. So, as I was saying, In the early 1970s, there was a ministry and there was a National Sports Commission, and there was no conflict. In sports administration. It started with Jerry Enyazu, and then it followed by Mr. Isaac Akioye. These are people who had degrees in physical administration from overseas. And when Akioye came, particularly with his America-trained background, he established perhaps the best period for sports development in our history, because he made the National Sports Commission very, very relevant. That was where all the coaches were attached to. The coaches were employed by the National Sports Commission. The National Sports Commission had all the departments you can think of, including that serious agency called the Nigerian Institute for Sports. The Nigerian Institute for Sports was the intelligence side, the think tank, the scientific side, the technological side of sports development. It had one of the best laboratories for sports in Africa at the time. It could experiment with athletes. It could experiment with all manner of things. Its library was foremost. Its facilities was for athletes. They were using athletes as guinea pigs. We who were players in the national team were actually camped for part of the period in the National Institute for Sports. And you will find that between the National Sports Commission and the Institute for Sports, they engaged all the coaches in all the sports, including football. At a time, they engaged about 5 coaches, all of them Europeans, to come and go to the grassroots, go to the regions, go to schools, go everywhere in the country to go and fish out exceptionally gifted athletes exceptionally gifted footballers. I'm talking football. And it is the same with other sports. And those were the ones that brought players to the national team, which was also under the National Sports Commission. It was only when there was a major competition that the Football Federation would now come up with their own part of the teams that the National Sports Commission had put together, the elite athletes, as well as those that they discovered on their own. They put them together and formed a national team. So it was the National Sports Commission, a department where you have technocrats in all departments, in health, in science, in psychology, in coaching, in training. They had everything. So the ministry was on its own. The connection between the two was that there was a department, a division within the ministry that was headed by a director of sports. They called the one I met there, Mr. Mogaji. He was a director of sports in the Ministry of Youth and Sports. And he was the liaison between the ministry and the National Sports Commission. The National Sports Commission didn't get involved. I mean, the ministry did not get involved in the day-to-day activities of the National Sports Commission, which was directly in charge of all sports. They controlled all the federal government facilities. All the stadia were under their control. All the coaches were under their control. And all the athletes also were under their control. And the National Institute for Sports served as the academic side of it. It was training the coaches. It was using the athletes as guinea pigs for their training. It was providing all the science and technology needed to provide the best form of training you can get anywhere in the world. It brought in coaches from China, from Bulgaria, from Cuba, from Yugoslavia, in the different sports. And all the different sports were functioning because everybody involved was a professional in sports. The ministry was a civil service place where they formulated policies. They led delegations going for games. If it was the Olympics, they still led the delegations. They provided the funds, and so on and so forth. So there was a clear demarcation of responsibilities between the ministry and the National Sports Commission. And if you go and check the National Sports Policy document, which was distributed at the time, I think it was written in 1979 or 1989, that document clearly spells out the roles and responsibilities, and there was no conflict. So we can have a National Sports Commission function as a parastatal of the Ministry of, as an agency of the Ministry of Sports. And you have the National Institute for Sports, because that's a very important aspect of our sports development that we always neglect. Instead of sending coaches abroad to go and get certified, we should empower the National Institute for Sport. Bring the best coaches, the best instructors to come here and teach and train our coaches about coaching, give them certification. That's why it was set up, including administrators. You can get the best form of training for our administrators in the National Institute for Sports, the best form of scientific training for our athletes in the National Institute for Sports. All those things were documented. They worked very, very well. But an era came when, because of successive changes in leadership at the ministry level, particularly ministry level, and it's also affected the National Sports Commission level, you now had people who came in without this deep knowledge and understanding of how things were, the structures, the roles and responsibilities, and so on. And they started to diffuse it. They started to mix it to such an extent that the National Institute for Sports does not even come into conversations anymore, whereas it is the most important aspect of our sports development. Ask all those who went through that system, and they will tell you that is the scientific base of our sports development, and it is totally and completely neglected. The last thing I will say, so that I don't bore you, is that there was a time when Australia suddenly became a model for sports development in the world, shortly before they hosted the Olympic Games. The world wanted to find out how the Australians did it. What the model the Australians adopted was close, very close, to the model that Nigeria was running at the time. And I was chairman of the Nigerian Institute for Sports, and we created a relationship between the Nigerian Institute for Sports and the Australian Institute for Sports. They came here, funded by MTN, to come and give us a 10-year elite athletes development program. When you see that document, you will see that it requires the complete presence of the National Sports Commission. It is just tailored like their own. And they divided the roles and responsibilities and told us how we could start to win gold medals in 8 years. That document still exists. They tried to implement it, but as I said, when new administrators come in with their own vision and knowledge, which does not include that original vision of where Nigeria should be going, they diffuse it, and what you get is what we have now. NIS does not exist. People don't know the roles and responsibility of the National Sports Commission. They have merged it with the ministry. The ministry is not constructed to carry out some of the responsibilities it is carrying out. So everywhere there is confusion. That's what we have. So this is great news that the Committee for Sports in the National Assembly has found it fit and proper to now bring back that bill, bring the bill, or, send the bill to the presidency for its assent now, so that they can now bring back the National Sports Commission. It is the best thing that will happen to Nigeria if we can do that, and put there people who are trained, who have the qualifications, who have the experience and the knowledge to start to shape our sports, instead of this amorphous situation that we have now, where we don't know our left from our right.
Thank you so very much, Mr. Speaker. Wow, that was indeed deep. I took down some notes, and I'll be coming back to you to ask you some few questions. But before that, I would like to welcome Wahid Ekun all the way from Ibadan.
Yes,
Wahid,
thank you very much.
Wahid, thank
very
you.
much, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you so much for joining us. How is Ibadan today?
Yeah, Ibadan is fine. We are okay in Ibadan, yeah.
Is there light?
Yes, there's no light, but it's very fine. But there's always
There's
okay.
no light, but it's fine. Okay, all right, that's good. All right, Wahid.
Yeah.
Before I come to you, Mr. Speaker has been speaking elucidating, educating, and letting us know the gains of the National Sports Commission. What is your take on it being brought back as the bill has been passed by the Senate, and we're just waiting for Mr. President's signature to make it law formally? What is your take on the National Sports Commission?
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker, Mr. Acting Speaker. As rightly said by Big Sheikh, the mathematician, he has said a lot about the importance and the role of National Sports Commission in sports development in Nigeria. That is exactly the position. That is exactly what should be. That was what it used to be in the days of Akioye and all of them. In the days I was involved in sports too. That was the in thing. The Sports Commission was in place, and it was acting for sports all over the country, and it's responsible for all the sporting activities, and it's in serious liaison with the federal government. There was no problem then. So the professionals were in charge. The secretaries were employed by the Sports Commission. The coaches were employed, and of course, the National Institute for Sports was there. I remember at the time, Mr. Odebami was actually the chairman of the National Institute for Sports. That was when everything was working perfectly. But a time came when everything was jingled together, was mixed up, and then everything was concentrated on the ministry. And that is not the case. There should be separation of powers. Sports Commission is supposed to be for sports development in the country, and that's how it should be. And it would be a great thing if that order is reversed and then the Sports Commission is brought back on board.
Thank you, Wahid.
Maybe I should add, just for dimension, so that people can understand the dimensions. You see, the National Sports Commission offered scholarships. It was the one that did the National Sports Festival. The National Sports Commission created the National Sports Festival for juniors, for intermediates, and for the seniors. And when it discovers elite, the best of the athletes, those that are still in school, they offered them scholarships. These were federal government scholarships.
Wow.
Offered by the National Sports Commission for universities in Nigeria as well as universities abroad. Wherever you had your own university, they funded your education. So when you are in the university, they are taking care of you, and they take care of your training as well. So we had athletes in some Nigerian universities. Ahmadu Bello University, we had Oliver Johnson, who was controlling them, the basketball and so on. He was the one that found Akim Olajuwon and took him to America. We had in Obafemi Awolowo University in Ife a pool of athletes that were running and playing football for Nigeria. In cricket, in athletics, in football, they were all in the University of Ife. And they were funded by the federal government through the National Sports Commission. Yes, so all of those things were in place. We were supervised by coaches who were employed to work through the National Institute for Sports. The training we were getting, the facilities we were using, were facilities of the National Stadium. If you saw our training facilities, they were comparable to anyone you will find anywhere. You won't find them in clubs. What we were using, you will not find in clubs. Where we were living, you could not find any. They are better than hotels at the time. So you can see that we had functional facilities in place. We had the personnel who were well trained. Father Tiko was working for the National Sports Commission. Hans Marowski, who became one of the foremost technicians in FIFA, he was working in the National Sports Commission. Diaz, who went to Rangers and discovered Rangers and brought so many of them to the national team, was working for the National Sports Commission. Lee Evans in athletics came from America. He was working for the National Sports Commission. He was based in Ibadan, and so on and so forth. There was one based in Kano. He was working, a white man based in Kano. So they were all there working for these people, and they were contributing to developments in the regions, in the local government, in the schools.
Mr. Speaker, I know, since you were a one-time chairman, I know how passionate you are for the National Sports Commission. I will want you to talk about the insert that we're about to show Nigerians now. before we show it. Give us a little brief on the insert.
No, well, I think it's a package by the NTA crew led by Kende Lamidi about the history of the National Sports Commission. It should be fine. Let's sit back and watch it.
All right, sir.
1962, with the establishment of the National Sports Council, which functioned under the Federal Ministry of Labour. This was later replaced by the National Sports Commission with the promulgation of Decree 34 of 1971. Realizing the importance of sport, government in 1975 upgraded the National Sports Commission to ministerial status and appointed a minister of cabinet rank to oversee its affairs. In 1991, the National Sports Commission re-emerged with the promulgation of that year. This body, which became a parastatal under the Ministry of Youth and Sport, was mainly responsible for the administration of sport in the country through national sport associations. The National Sports Commission was scrapped and the Ministry of Youth and Sport took over its functions. In 2007, the Ministry of Sports and Social Development was scrapped again and replaced by the National Sports Commission, which is yet to enjoy legal backing through promulgation of an act by the National Assembly. The Sport Commission, as it is established in other countries of the world, is the apex federal government agency charged with the responsibility of implementing the policy and programs of the federal government with respect to sport administration, management, and facilities development, with Alazar Yakmut as the last Director General of the Commission in 2015. Previous Director Generals are Amos Adamu, Patrick Ekeji, and Benga Elegbeleye. Advising federal government to return the National Sports Commission, stakeholders highlighted the positive advantages derivable, saying that it will serve as a pivotal to development of sports in Nigeria. It will reduce bureaucracy in the administrative process, give room for professionalism, and serve as a channel for fast and smooth implementation of the nation's sports policy.
The National Sports Commission is instituted. The National Sports Commission, as was operated before now, has what we call the zonal structures, which, are established at the grassroots level. And they are able to drive sports at the grassroots level in terms of talent identification, talent development, and, bringing them into the national teams, even for effective participation.
National Sports Commission should be brought back and will be able to oversee other state sports commission. All state sports commission will now work towards the National Sports Commission. Then there's a tree that is formed and there's a focus.
Lastly, it pays more because the ministry will have its own budget. Then the what is it called? The commission will equally have its own budget. Nigeria has fared well. Let's check the history of Nigeria. Nigeria have done well in international sports or grassroots sports when we run under a commission. So I strongly subscribe that we'll run a sports commission in Nigeria.
It provides a platform for sports professionals of different specializations to gather under one organizational system to implement federal government sports policies.
Now Nigeria is operating in 6 zones. If we really mean business, it is this National Sports Commission that will now go into these zones, know what exactly the facilities that we put into zones.
The Minister of Sport, Sunday Adire, in one of his appearances on this formal sports program, the Sports Parliament, disclosed his support for the return of the National Sports Commission.
Beyond the NFF bill that is waiting for assent from the President, there's also the Sports Commission bill. The Sports Commission bill. I'm in full support of it. It's gone through the first reading. Because, when it existed, you saw the technical depth. The professionalism that was brought to bear. I'm not a minister that is averse to it. And in fact, I've been working with some lawmakers. We're trying to look at maybe we should move from it being an executive bill to being a member bill so they can go faster. But I'm in full support of that.
Minister's submission is a pointer to the fact that the National Sports Commission will return. But how soon? Time will tell.
Wow. this is quite interesting. It's intriguing to me because I was on this set when the Honorable Minister, Sunday Adire, spoke so fluently and expressed his desire for the bill to be passed. And now that it is passed, and with the few comments we've heard tonight, I think I've been won over by this bill, and I honestly do think that it's a bill that would do good for our sports. Okay, now, before I go to Mr. Speaker, I would like to ask a few questions. Wahid, are you still there? Wahid Ekun.
I'm there.
Okay.
Yes.
Now, Wahid, I would like to find out
Yeah.
from you. Can you tell me some of the gains the National Sports Commission has gifted this nation? Some of the gains, some of the wins we've gotten from the NSC.
There were many. Because the National Sports Commission was responsible for sports in those days. In the times of the Green Eagles that won the World African Games, it was the National Sports Commission that did this. In the times we were operating the West African Games, it was the National Sports Commission that did it. The time the Super Eagles won the African Cup of Nations, it was Super Eagles that did it. We were doing the African and Asian Championships in table tennis. It was the National Sports Commission that did this. If it was the time the basketball was doing fine, the weightlifting was doing fine, it was National Sports Commission. There's nothing else we can do in sports in Nigeria without National Sports Commission being involved and being the brainchild behind everything. So I don't think the sports could grow in this country except without National Sports Commission, where the professionals are in charge and they are monitoring and then they are in charge of all sports naturally. So I don't think we can do else but have National Sports Commission in place, and that's the time we are sure we are having the best of sports development in this country.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Wahid. Back to Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, are you there?
Yes, I'm here. I'm here. I'm listening.
I personally believe, Mr. Speaker, that in this nation of ours, a lot can happen through the private sector, through corporate bodies, and through professionals handling the National Sports Commission. As an aside, something interesting was discussed today on my way from Warri with my friend Ifeanyi Mogeku, when there was traffic at Ore one time, and all of a sudden the road was cleared, and a helicopter stopped in Ore and picked up 2 passengers that were in that traffic. So I'm wondering that if we could do this, it means that we can also help the sporting sector, educational sector. We can marry them and get real professionals to run this. Mr. Speaker, can you tell me and Nigerians some of the gains that the NSC has given to Nigeria? Some of the win situations.
Well, Wahid just stated that to you, but let me put it this way. Let me tell you a few stories.
Okay.
When we went to the Olympic Games in 1976 in Montreal, Canada, that was the height of the effect of having the National Sports Commission running Nigerian sports. The contingent was led by the Ministry of Sport, Youth and Sports. It was led by the ministry. But the ones relating directly with the International Olympic Committee was the Nigerian Olympic Committee, which had at the head of it, Chief Abraham Odia. Chief Abraham Odia.
Mr. Speaker, yes. I would like to please plead with you to hold your thoughts on Mr. Abraham Odia as we take a quick break. We'll be right back.
Okay.
It's the dawn of a new era on NTA's flagship program, the Sports Parliament. Revitalized with lots of varieties, including feedback responses from viewers. Sports Parliament, the weekly sports show that exposes all the intrigues in the Nigerian sports sector and projects an agenda on the way forward for Nigerian sports. On NTA every Thursday at 10:30 p.m., running for 1 whole hour. discussing sports. The parliamentarians are more committed than ever to enlighten the viewers as the sports parliament takes it to a whole new level on the floor of the House. Keep a date with the sports parliament as motions are moved every Thursday on the floor of the House. Mr. Speaker, with his gavel to harmonize sports resolutions. The House have it.
Welcome back. This is the Sports Parliament on the NTA from House Studios here in Lagos. Back to Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, your thoughts, you were giving us some few stories and you stopped at Mr. Abraham Odia. Please take it away.
Well, Abraham Odia was the Secretary General of the Supreme Council for Sports in Africa. He was the Secretary General of the Nigeria Olympic Committee. It was a very, very powerful body. And what they did in 1976 underlines the power of the National Sports Commission to take decision. See what is happening today now. There is the Olympic Games that is supposed to hold in Beijing. The US government, Canadian government, UK government all say they are not going to allow, or they are, what's that thing, diplomatic withdrawal from the games. They described it as diplomatic withdrawal from the games. The athletes can still participate under the banner of their Olympic committees, but the officials, who are all government officials, will not participate in it. They are robbing the Olympics of official government presence. But the Olympics will go on. See what we did in 1976, which underlines the power of sports and the need for us to unify as one, particularly in Africa and as Black people. Led by Abraham Odia, Nigeria decided that worked with 27 other African countries and boycotted the Olympics for the first time in history. The effect of that, although negative for us as athletes, was what Ambassador Andrew Young later said, that if Nigeria had not boycotted the Olympics, under former President Olusegun Obasanjo, Nelson Mandela may probably never have become president of South Africa.
Wow.
And the end to apartheid in South Africa may have taken many more years down the line than what happened at the time. It was led by Nigeria. We forget how important it is. The government couldn't have taken that decision. It was the National Sports Commission working with the Nigeria Olympic Committee. Abraham Odia. Government did not say a word. And they boycotted the games, and that has been a historic point in the life of the Olympics. Nothing like that has ever happened again, where a continent will withdraw from the championship. It has empowered, it has demonstrated the power of sports. After that, of course, the Americans boycotted the Moscow Games. The Russians boycotted the games in Los Angeles. They did their own small boycotts, but none was as impactful as when we, Nigeria, did it correctly using the National Sports Commission. Just to tell you how powerful it is. If we were using, now we are talking of ministry, and FIBA is saying they will ban us, because we are talking of the Ministry of Sports.
Yes.
That's a government agency.
Yes.
If it was the Nigeria Olympic Committee that was making a pronouncement, or the National Sports Commission that is now is going to be a law in this country, who the hell will come and say that you cannot take a decision running your sports? You will run your sports, of course, through your federations, through your Olympic committees, and you can make noise. But the moment you bring in government, a letter from government, somebody from government making a pronouncement, then of course you give opportunity to those who use the threat of a ban to get their things done and dilute the influence, the power of the National Sports Commission or of sports generally to impact our society in Nigeria. Look, the military games, the World Military Games in which Nigeria used to participate actively, it was under the supervision of the National Sports Commission. because they will monitor what the military games, the athletes going to the military games. And many of them became athletes representing Nigeria. How many of them are representing Nigeria now? And yet, that is the disciplined force where you have some of the topmost, most physical, most powerful Nigerians who can actually be, in the vanguard of changing our sports generally. Very few. We don't even remember that they participate in sports. World University Games used to be where we harvested so many athletes, so many footballers, everything coming back to feed into our system through the National Sports Commission. It was the National Sports Commission that was driving all of these things. The World Secondary School Games, it was the National Sports Commission that was driving it. When you have a commission run by professionals, run by people who have serious qualifications and knowledge, this is not rocket science. How would they not perform better than where you have politicians? You have people who are appointed by governments and so on to come and run the show. They don't understand it. They don't know the vision. They don't know the history. They don't know nothing. So they will start to create their own, and they turn it into something that appears to be as if you are going to the moon. You are not going to the moon. You just want to shape people into form and make them physically and intellectually capable, to be able to deliver and become the best they can be in the different sports, technically capable. So that is not hard to do at all. What we need is that National Sports Commission the way it was. If you check, there's this document here, Federal Republic, if you can see it.
Yes,
it says Federal Republic of Nigeria, Sports Development Policy for Nigeria. If Nigerians, all Nigerians should read this, all these things we are going through in sports, it wouldn't be. It is clearly stated. It's a document, it's a policy document for Nigeria that states everybody's role and responsibility clearly. But we have dumped it. We are using politics. We are using people that do not understand it and so on and so forth. But we thank God that we have a minister now who is listening. You saw him there.
Yes.
Supports the idea of bringing back the National Sports Commission. He's doing great things. He wants to advance this policy document to include the business side of it, to bring in what you said, the private sector to come and be a part of it. The private sector is also involved in this too, but not to the dimension which the minister is proposing now, because the world is a different place. The world has moved ahead, and we need the private sector to come and work with us. They won't work with the ministry. They will work with the National Sports Commission. The board of the National Sports Commission in those days was headed first by somebody who was not in government, was a businessman. And the people who constituted the board were from different sectors of the private sector. They were the ones in the board of the National Sports Commission. And they were driving all these things that I told you about. In boxing, they brought Achimon. That was a world boxing champion. Go and check in the records. He was looking for boxers in Obalende, in Ibadan, and all those. And he brought some of the best boxers that this country was going to produce at the time. The Ande brothers, David and Jonathan, Obisi and Wapa. Those people were very young and they went to the Olympics. Unfortunately, they did not participate. Lee Evans and co. They brought all that generation, Felix Imabi, Bruce Ijirigo, Taiwo Ogunjobi, Gloria Anyolaja, Charlton Hizwele was the best jumper in the world, triple jumper, and he also jumped in the world. He was going to gold medal for sure. He was going to get. He was funded by the National Sports Commission in an American university, and they are so on and so forth like that. That is the body that understands, that will bring in these people, that will not tell you that, oh, government does not need funding. You see, only politicians who say so. Sports does not need government funding. How can you say so? It is a statutory responsibility of government to provide us with facilities from the grassroots level up to any level for sports participation of the people. It is the statutory responsibility of government. Private clubs can set up their own footballs. They are private clubs. They are running business on their own. And they are the ones. The federations are private clubs coming together to organize their own competitions, and they run their business. They can go into the media, do business. They can go into merchandising. They can go into selling or buying of players. They can do all of those things to make their money. But you see, they are independent. A profit and loss organization, as you find all over Europe.
Interesting.
So
Mr.
they
Speaker.
form the federations. So they organize competitions for themselves. And that's what you find in Europe. They organize competitions for themselves. But when you go to the grassroots, the nitty-gritty, it is the governments that provide community fields, they provide facilities, they provide parks, they provide all of those things. They provide scholarships for the best of them. So what we are saying, what the National Sports Commission does is to fish for talent all over the country through their zones, through the states, through their state commission councils, the state councils or state commissions. Those ones will now be empowered to go out and do the proper grassroots thing. And the best of them are put under the care of the National Sports Commission. The best of them. It's not that everybody, they are spending money on everybody. When you have discovered the best of them, they call them elite athletes. Then the elite athletes are now put under the care of the National Sports Commission. They are the ones that can get easy funding because they are elite. That means they are prepared to represent the national team.
Exactly.
They are making a name.
Exactly.
So you can sell those ones easily. There are competitions they can even go to. So they take care of elite athletes. It's not as if the money they need is too much. The states take care of their own grassroots sports development. The local government take care of at a lesser level of development. But the clubs, they take care of their own individual businesses. And when they come together, they become a federation. When they are affiliated to FIFA, for example, they want to participate in FIFA competitions, then they fish from the products of the National Sports Commission to form their own, to form a national team that will represent the country. That is the relationship between them.
Mr. Speaker, if I may ask you very quickly, and I'm going to go to Wahid because we have about 5 minutes more on this show. I also have a position on this because I think that for our sports to have fluidity and for the sports to actually have proper corporate image, that we need someone with experience, with expertise to come into the NSC and take it to those lofty heights that you've so well promoted tonight. You won me over. Like, you know, before the show, I was not a believer in it. But after listening to people today and seeing what it entails, I'm now a believer in it. Who would you recommend if you had the opportunity to say, let this person go into the National Sports Commission? So that I can go to Wahid, and then I'll also say who I think I would like to recommend before I come back to you to close the show.
No. Let Wahid go on and talk.
Wahid.
There are so many Nigerians. There are so many Nigerians who are qualified, who have the experience.
That question is very political. It's very political in nature, the question you are asking.
Okay.
What I was about to contribute is that we are talking National Sports Commission. There's a caveat about it. It depends on the people that are appointed to manage the National Sports Commission. It's not National Sports Commission in its entity that is actually working, but it's the people that are...
Okay, so what you're saying, Wahid, if I get you clearly, what you're saying is you would rather go with an astute professional that can run the NSC and a very good, solid team.
Of course, that's what I'm saying. And most importantly, we are very lucky to have the present minister in charge. He understands and he listens to advice. So that's why I want the minister to actually listen to people's advice and to actually appoint professionals into the National Sports Commission. There are very many of them. So to ask Odebami to pinpoint somebody is begging the question. So
No, Wahid, please just stick to my question. There's a reason for that. There's a reason for that. Anyway, thank you for your thoughts. Okay, let me elucidate. Let me explain why I asked that question, Mr. Speaker. I have come to a point where I have seen that Nigerian can actually work when you have the right people, when you put the square pegs in round holes, when you put the right people in the right position, you get very good results. We have seen so many people in the sporting sector that do not go to government for everything. Yes, they can go to government for certain things, but not for everything. We also know of people who have brought glamour to sports. I mean, be it sports that are not as popular as football. Now, there are people who have taken certain sports that is not related to football to lofty heights. And such people, I think, have everything in them to handle. I don't know who the sports minister is going to make the next chairman of the National Sports Commission now that the bill has been passed. But if I have my way, I would have recommended someone who has brought panache, who has brought the corporate body to bring money, hard-earned money, into sports, to support sports, left, right, and center. I would want someone to sit on that chair that can call the shots without going cap in hand to beg government for everything. Someone that I believe personally can do this great work. Like I said before this show.
Well, Onome, let me save you from yourself. Let me save you from yourself. To just tell you that the NSC, I believe, will have a board.
Okay.
And the composition of the board would reflect the strengths, the different strengths of people that Nigerians will know have an interest, have a passion, have qualification in sports. I can guarantee you that when you set up the NFC, you can't put politicians there.
Obviously.
In that board, it will be hard to put politicians.
Obviously.
I can assure you that. The politicians, they have their own arm of it. The Ministry of Sports can set up whatever they want to set up. And when it comes time to travel or to do whatever, they can put the politicians to go in there. But when you set up a truly professional National Sports Commission, which I believe is the intention of this government, by going the route they have gone, Nigerians would ask questions. They too will ask, who are those that have the knowledge, that have the qualifications, that have the experience? Because it goes beyond you taking one federation. It's not about taking a federation. When you take a federation, you are taking a group of members, a group of people who are in the same profession, and then you are leading them somewhere. You don't expect government to put money there. This one, government will put money. The National Sports Commission, government has to put money.
Fantastic, Mr. Speaker. We have 2 minutes. We have 2 minutes, Mr. Speaker.
But they can still go and get tremendous support from the private sector. But this is a responsibility of government. Please don't take it away from government.
Okay. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. My final thoughts before I come to you to close the show. I believe the NSC the minister should appoint someone astute, someone who has brought certain sports like marathon all over Nigeria is now a big deal, someone that has made football to be at the peak of itself in Nigeria, making Nigerians happy. I think we know who those. They are not too tall. Even if they are not too tall, they can bring so many things to the fore. I believe that such people should be as members of the board for the NSC. That is my final thoughts. Mr. Speaker, over to you as we close the show.
Well, on that note, I would like to say, by the special grace of God, we shall be back in Lagos next week. And we use this opportunity to wish all Nigerians a Merry Christmas. We are going into the Christmas season. And a fantastic 2022. We pray that God will bestow on all of us the grace to survive the very, very difficult times that all Nigerians, all people around the world are actually going through at this time. Okay, so I am moving the motion, and let me bring my gavel. Is here to say that we shall convene next week again on Thursday by the special grace of God on Africa's largest television network. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Waheed, you are silent. All those against, say nay. Well, the ayes have it.
Good night.
Here's the start and get. Promises to Shara. Winds up that left hand.
Archbishop of basketball, goal! He hung on that net like a stalk up a tree. NTA Sports 24 brings you all sports, all time and all day. Tune in to watch NTA Sports 24 on Star Times Channel 270, StarSat on Channel 434 and Free TV on Channel 731. NTA Sports 24, where sports thrive.
Everything is architected and designed by the Almighty.
Someone who is a Christian is someone who lives a life of
Christ.
Jesus Christ. And the life of Jesus Christ is a life of sacrifice.
Yes.
We are in Itoku, Abeokuta, Ogun State capital, the home of the popular Adire fabric. Nigerian culture is multi-ethnic and gives a lot of value of different types of arts, which include glass and metal work, painting, wood carving, and clothes weaving, to mention but a few. But among all these forms of arts, Adire is the most common among the people of Egbaland in Ogun State. And my name is Idare Aderokun. Welcome to Itoku, the Adire Hall.
Adire is an age-long fabric, first popular among the Yorubas, particularly the Egbas, with its various beautiful designs and fabric worn by every age and class. Meanwhile, Adire fabrics industry have evolved over time, both in production and promotion. In a bid to compete favorably with other fabrics, as well as complement government efforts towards industrialization, operators have developed new ways of doing business. The production of Adire is something that has since been passed from generation to generation. Invariably, it is inherited by birth, or it is inherited from birth. History has it that Adire fabric were first made with teru, local white attire, and elu, local dye, made from elu leaf, which is planted in the Shaki area of Oyo State. Hence, the material was sourced locally, until recently that there have been some innovations in the patterns and materials being used.
This is what we call batik. When you want to make batik, we firstly wash in the cold water. After washing it, dry it. After drying it, we put the candle, any design that you want, we put it on the fabric. After that, we put it in the dye. But the dye that we put in batik, it will not hot than tie and dye. When you put a small hot, small cold. So that's how we are making batik. After doing that, we remove the candle from the hot water, stash it. That's how we are doing batik. If it is tie and dye, you can use raffia. That raffia is Iko in Yoruba. You tie it in any design that you want. After that, put the dye. That is tie and dye.
Talking the state of Adire fabric, there has been a shift in paradigm in the mode of operations by the people involved. Adire now uses simple technology, and hot wax or paraffin are used as resist agents in place of the indigenous cassava paste. To meet the high demand of Adire now, stenciling has largely been replaced by a block printing technique to apply the hot wax.
We are using 100% materials, quality one. But now, they are made in China. 40% of the quality one that we are using before. We are using 100% of quality Guinea bouquet. For now, we are using only 40% quality.
In the next 10 years, to my own calculation and by God's grace, everything will have been bigger and better than what we have now. Because many people are coming into it, and as many people are coming into it, they are bringing in creativity. Somebody will come and learn Adire from you today. Before you know it, the design that person will be creating will be different from yours and will be better than the yoga stuff.
Whether it is produced through the old process or otherwise, Adire is a fabric in the class of its own among fabrics in Nigeria and the diaspora.
We want to talk about rights, there are obligations. I'm not saying that this government is a saint, it's very far from it. But there are things that we can do to make it better, and that's the challenge I'm throwing to you. You don't want to build this nation? I don't know where else you want to go. If I had a choice, I'll come back. When I stand outside and I hear what you have to say about this country that I know that I can die for as one, then I'm really sad because you're young. You have education. You have tools. You have a huge future ahead of you. And you're condemning yourself before you started on that journey. So please don't do that. Please don't.
This vaccine is safe, and it has been certified safe and usable by NAFTA.
They've come from all around Africa and have been fighting hard to make the final cut. And here they are. The coming days are sure to be a tough challenge for some of these young men, but this opportunity can be life-changing.
So every day is a chance for you to prove if you are or not worth it of the opportunity.
This is the network service of the NTA.
Hey, my people, welcome. It's Beyond Six Packs. You see, the show where we break it down, where guys just hang out, talk to each other about things, long-held assumptions and presumptions. We talk to each other and tell you what's on our mind, so that the ladies out there and every other person won't see this guy as complex. So, it's nice having you around. I've missed you guys. Today we have a very, very, very interesting topic. But before we get into that, of course, my main man who is always around will join me on this one. Adire.
You know we gotta do the dance, right? We gotta wave ball here for a little bit. Because you know it's beyond six packs.
Yes, sir.
What's up, bro?
Bro, welcome, man.
I'm good, I'm good.
Welcome. How you been?
I'm all right. I've been busy, up and down, doing a lot of stuff. But we're here now. Beyond six packs is for you and for me. There's so much to talk about.
Definitely.
All right.
Definitely. But before we do that, we'll be right back. Welcome back, guys. Welcome. My name is still Obi, and you're still on Beyond Six Packs. Today, interesting topic we'll be talking about. It's really raunchy. Office romance. Yay or nay? Abide, what do you
Why do you have to do your mouth like that? Yay or nay? I'm suspecting you.
Nay.
You're a professional office romancer.
They talk this kind thing for public. Yay or nay?
For me, though, yay or nay or nay or yay or yay or nay or nay or yay. I want to introduce our guest first. This is Muna. Muna, what's up? How you doing? Hello, your face looks like a romancer of the office.
Brother man, how now? How far?
He has this kind of face that, he has romanced many girls. They are not planning to beat him.
I played the fifth.
You played, what does that mean? As in 5 girls?
Muna, don't tell. Are you a lawyer?
Yes, I am.
You're a lawyer. Now they are talk with that.
Now, office romance, yeah or nay, for me, I think it can work if you make it work. If you make it work, that means that you have to be intelligent on a particular level, or else.
Well, Abide. See, globally, all over, I like to go global.
Yes.
It is almost unacceptable. Almost all organizations I know have policies against staff coupling. Right. Yeah. So if you need to do it, there are certain bro codes that you must abide by. But Muna, what do you think, man?
What are your thoughts about that?
I think it's a nay.
A nay, yeah?
A nay. It's a big issue because there's the issue of the distraction, there's the issue of abuse, there's the issue of...
Wait, distraction and abuse, are those not normal things in every normal relationship, whether office or not?
Distraction, irrespective, it's always going to be an issue because you have people who are not focused on the work, they're more focused on themselves, and every opportunity they have to get some from each other.
Wait, Mona, so wait. We are working to collect a salary, right? Yes. And then because I'm dating the girl, all right, in the office, we'll not be distracted from work in the office.
But of course, Abide, of course. The thing hold you, it hold you.
In the office?
Yes.
Once you have...
You don't want Abdul, the office assistant, to run in when you are,
Wait, but are we trying to say now that office romance is about the romance actions being carried out inside the office? Or can't you fix appointments somewhere else?
But you find out that most times your life in the office and your life outside, you really can't differentiate the two. The two they're like in a circle. They are two phases of the same 24 hours.
Right.
Yeah. So if you are feeling upset because of something outside the office, it affects you in the office. So in the same way, you come to work feeling on top of your day because she's made you feel really good. It affects you in the office too. So you're more productive, you're happier, you're gayer, you're all over the place. And when I say gay, I mean frisky and
I was gonna. But what I'm still saying is this. He spoke about distraction, all right? Yeah. If you don't work on your distraction on your everyday life, because you see, principles of life are quite general, all right? If it works for you outside, it should work for you inside. Just because I'm flinging a fling or having a fling in the office, right, does it mean I must or I will get distracted in the office space when maturity, because that's where maturity comes in. I really believe that every relationship, you have to have a lot of maturity working in it, or else.
That's my point. That's why I said there has to be some code of conduct.
Yeah, but are you maintaining that? Are you maintaining, like both of you said now, that it's a nay for you?
Personally, I think it's a nay.
But if you can pass through the code, break through it.
So you are the exception.
You see, even in certain situations when you feel you are mature enough, how mature is your partner? You have situations where you've become up close and personal with this person who is probably a junior, and you need to discipline the person. How do you go about it? Well, without the person feeling you're using excessive force because of the romance, or others feeling you're too soft because you and this person are so close. So
which brings us
borderline.
back to the issue of maturity and also understanding how to differentiate between romance, even though howbeit in the office, and work. For example, she's my subordinate, okay? But I also tell her, babe, we're cool, all right? Things are going, things are running. But when it comes to the work, no sentiments. I'm going to just handle you the way I will handle every other person so that they will not be...
How many girls will understand this?
But you see, the thing is, she will be very, very... delusional, or if that word is correct. If she doesn't get it.
It's easy to say, but stay on that thought.
Easier said than done.
Yeah, bro. Stay on that thought. We'll be right back. Guys, catch you soon.
Hello, guys.
Welcome.
Join the trend on Talking Movies as we bring to you breathtaking moments of action, suspense, love, comedy, and interviews of your favorite actors. Oh, yeah. Your host,
So true, Peter.
Rise and shine. Breakfast is ready in 10 minutes.
Oh, no. Watch Talking Movies on NTA Entertainment at these times.
Thank you for staying tuned and for being a part of the show as always. You are watching Beyond Six Packs. My name is Abide. I got my main man, Obi, of the Knuckle Chopping Ministry, is here right here. I will have Muna. Muna, how you feeling?
Very good.
I said in the beginning that you look like a perpetual office romancer. But now you're trying to hide. Now, before the break, I was saying, I'm talking about relationships generally have principles, right, that you should follow. It doesn't mean you always know them, which is what we're trying to say. But you see, maturity is key. If you're going to keep your relationship every day with your partner, with your husband, wife, discreet or well-maintained, you can also bring the same thing to the office. I still maintain that we can continue to have whatever the fling is that we're having, but we know how to separate the lines. It's like being in the army, okay?
Exactly.
Yeah. You know when the general is relaxed, you're at ease, okay? This is where everybody's cool. But when push comes to shove, everybody knows that it's time for war, all right? So you're separating the romance time and the romance behavior so that it doesn't get out of hand. I know Obi is ready to gig.
I'm glad you talked about the army because imagine the same general is in a fling or in something with one of his female soldiers, yeah? Will he be willing to send her to the battlefront, where the fight is hottest, where her life may be in danger, knowing fully well that if he doesn't, the lives of others who depend on her may be in danger? Then there lies the dilemma. No, but seriously, there's feelings coming to it. Look, I said globally, so that's the army. There's a reason why doctors are precluded from treating people they are close to. Yes. There's a reason why judges should recluse themselves from judging cases of people that they are involved in or interested in. Yes. So it's a globally accepted rule and norm that where there is bias.
For the judges and for the doctors, right? Yeah. Those ones are well written. All right. But when it comes to office, as it were.
Let me ask. Yes. See, okay, even lawyers and their clients, you're not really, if a lawyer is dating his client, if they report you to the bar, correct me if I'm wrong, it's a big issue. You could be debarred. So understand that your client at that point is your colleague. on that case. And you are supposed to carry out your legal responsibilities to the best of your ability.
Yeah, but having said all this, it doesn't mean that these things don't happen.
No, they do.
But the reason why we don't see them is because they are kept discreet.
Why
so that means because, number one, yes, if there are offices where they have those rules, right? You know, they didn't say that you should not be doing that as it were. Is if you are caught doing it. We're also assuming, let's say, there are offices that they don't say that.
No, I get.
All right?
Of course.
But, and then it still happens. What I'm just saying is this. If you know how to maintain your discreetness, and because see, you can't tell where you're going to find
Let
love.
me say something.
You can't tell where you're going to find love.
The idea behind why this is frowned at is we're not looking at the good times when you people are all happy and gay and chilling. We're looking at the bad times. Has a woman given you the silent treatment before, where she's just not talking to you? And you're not even certain why she's not talking to you. You can't think. You can't function. You just
but excuse me, if it's your wife at home, you don't work together, that does that, you still not be able to think. It will still affect you at work.
You can zone out. You can be at work and be at work because you're not seeing her. But then when the person who is giving you the silent treatment is on that desk,
and you need to report to her.
Oh my God, and you have to grind it every minute of every day. Oh.
You have to grind it every day.
Like you have to get work
Grinding.
done.
You have to get work done.
Yes.
Quick question. Have you ever had personal experiences with office romance?
Yes, I have.
You have said it on camera.
Very, very way back.
We have caught you.
Okay.
Hope she wasn't your client, though.
No. A colleague. You know, a much older colleague, which is where it was a bit.
Woohoo!
You know.
Okay.
It was a bit. On this time, it wasn't like I felt like I was the victim, more like.
Why? Because she came on to you?
Eventually, no, I won't say that. We both really liked each other. It was mutual. But it was mutual, but she was senior. And she was like a boss to me.
Right. Okay.
So even eventually when we had said, okay, you know what, let's not do this anymore, you still find both of us walking on eggshells around each other.
Yeah.
Because when I disagree with something, even if I am as bona fide and as clear-minded as possible, she feels I'm disagreeing because it is her.
I
So
understand.
you now have those situations where you're trying to explain yourself and trying not to be rude, as well as also trying. You're just so.
So how did that end? How did it pan out?
Oh, wait, how do you know if it's ended? Is it still on?
No. The romance ended a long time. It ended as quickly as it started. But then
did it end well?
It
doesn't sound like
ended.
That's what's important.
I don't know. Well or not well, you know, working together subsequently, you just still feel that friction at the back of our minds that, okay, we had something. And is that why we're not doing this right? Is that why we're not agreeing on this? Is that why it's so difficult to get this person to see things from my point of view? So
I think that whichever way, whether it's office or outside office, if maturity plays its role as it should, everything can be maintained. But there's more to talk about. But we will go to We Talk right now. So stay with us. You're watching Beyond Six Packs. This is Obi, Abai, Amuna, the guy that was delivered from Office Romance.
We'll be back.
Office romance, yay or nay?
A very big nay, and I'm going to tell you why.
For me, I would say it's a capital no.
I would say it's a yay and a nay.
The timing actually matters, and the person in question.
Okay, let me talk for myself. It's a big yay for me. I can have it. As far as myself and the person involved, we understand each other, we can balance our work, we can do virtually everything together. And for crying out loud, my work environment gives me the space for the office romance, so sure.
Now, except you are looking to leave that job and go somewhere else, I think it's very important for you not to try it. Because this is the person you'll be seeing every time, and some people are not very matured.
At the end of the day, when there is a problem, you guys don't seem to be the same people you are. There's still that lingering feeling of, okay, this person did not try for me or I didn't try for this person. And every time you come across the person, you see them in the workplace, it brings back memories. And
most people might probably be against it because maybe it doesn't work for others, but at times also it does work for others. Because they say what's good for the goose is good for the gander. So simply because some people engage in office romance and the whole thing went bad or went south, doesn't mean it's totally wrong.
There are times that the person might have a good voice based on your line of work, and she's actually book smart. So attraction might come to play in this regard. And before you know, you keep nursing it, and the fact that you see her almost every day, you know, something can actually start, you know, brewing up and all that.
You do whatever, you guys get romantic, and I don't know, you see the person at the office tomorrow and then everything just feels weird. So I think as much as possible, avoid it. It's not good because it just makes everything go bad. You guys have work to do and then everything just feels weird.
I've been in it once and, you know, it was quite remarkable, very nice, very lovely. And the fact that there's something they call it hide and seek. You know, you're still into, you know, being in the moment at times because you find out that you have a lot of people around you and you want to keep it private. So the fact that you would probably steal a kiss 1 or 2 times, you know, that makes it interesting at times.
The thing is, see, there are other places to find these things. When I say these things, I mean love or whatever it is you're looking for. Go elsewhere. Why work? It's just going to ruin everything. But if it's meant to happen, it's going to happen.
I'll go into it way, way deep, over and over again. And I'm cool, professionally, I'm cool. If we're done, we can handle it professionally. You go your way, I say, hey, what's up? We go back and we're back, it's normal. So it's a big yeah for me.
Maybe the demands might be high, you know. Drop me here, can I take you there? Can we go here? You understand? And maybe you have something personal to do and all of that. And because of probably the backlash of what people might actually say.
The worst part is if you're even doing it with somebody who is kind of like above you, like for a guy now who is dating a female who is in the office like she's your superior. Dude, it's just totally wrong.
I don't have any challenges with it. Love is a beautiful thing, last.
Office romance, yay or nay? That is the point of discussion for today.
Yeah.
You've been watching, and you're still watching, Beyond Six Packs. And Obi, my main man, is still here. Chop 2 knock is 2. It's 2 now. Huh? Mad Webuna. I don't even know what that means. And this is Muna. Is Muna. So now, I maintain that every relationship must carry in it maturity, must carry in it discipline and discreet thinking. I hope that English makes sense because even in my head. But the thing is, so whether it's in the office or it's outside the office, if maturity plays its role and there's understanding that there's a difference between work and romance and you separate both borders, right? It's the same way an army general, like you said, right? An army general is an army general in the army, but you see, when he's at home, he's the husband to his wife.
Good.
He's not army generaling his wife.
But you see, the army general or at the war front will be required to take decisions without being
which agrees with what I'm saying.
Yeah, I agree.
You have to put somebody in the forefront, the lady that you are having a fling with or you are having that romantic affair with.
You make that decision with a clear mind or not. That's the thing, we're human. Yeah, and biases, feelings, sentiments will always play.
But allowing sentiments is a choice.
No!
You can't explain. You can't tell what you will do when you are in love.
There are extremes. I think, well, there are extremes, like you mentioned in the medical field, in the legal field. But when it's office romance...
globally, there's a reason why...
means...
When you say globally, is it like United Nations wrote it somewhere?
Well, tell me any industry where you don't have those rules, and I will show you that there are exceptions rather than the rule itself.
Wait, hold on. Are you saying that in every
industry?
You see, I think why those rules are there is you are most vulnerable when you are that close to someone.
Wait, are you guys saying that even people in the army, for example, don't get married to each other?
No. Getting married to each other is different. They try to keep them away. Separate departments, separate branches, separate. Just don't keep them in the same space. You don't want to bust in on Madam and Oga in the bedroom or in the toilet, office toilet.
Wait, hold on.
Those
Now,
are
that's
issues.
That's another thing. Now, office romance, is it that it also requires that if they need to get down, it has to also be in the office?
No.
No. You see, because you see, you will say yes, they should be disciplined enough not to do it there. But when we're talking hormones here, and the average risk factor that we average humans like, you feel that it's more exciting when everybody is out there and then you're just trying to sharp.
But don't also forget the part where if the guy, for example, has his can I say romancing? He's romancing like 1 or 2, 3 or 4 ladies in the office. As a sharp guy.
This is
we're not
another
supporting,
angle.
now we're not supporting what he's doing. Yeah, but as a sharp guy,
you are making him a Yoruba demon.
He will be foolish to be thinking that, all right, it's going to be happening in the office, or, you know, the lady is multiple romance, I want to form some kind of English. Multiple romancing, some gentlemen in the office, you know. I still maintain, really, that if maturity plays its role, and you understand how to separate principles, all right, of work and romance, whether inside office, whether outside office, these principles are the same.
I agree. But when it doesn't end well, you then have a reputation that you need to deal with. So with the serial romancer, the lady, for instance, Paul came. She dated. It didn't end well. So she got a reputation. Stephen comes. She has that baggage of Paul, and then they get down, and whatever happens, it still doesn't end well. She now has 2 heaps of reputational issues to deal with. Number 3 comes along. Before long, she would be carrying around baggage that she doesn't need.
Rumors.
I mean, you don't need
The rumors will be swirling.
If I were the owner of that business, what I will do is, look, call the young lady and deal with the matter, or move her somewhere else, or fire her outright. That's 1. 2.
But what if the owner of the business is the one that is...
We disagree with that angle.
It is in the rules.
Legally.
If it's in the rules, and I see that it is blocking... If it is in the rules, staff handbook, no staff coupling. If it is seen and proven, simple. If you ask 4 people and they know that you've been romancing your colleague, I fire you.
This is really subject to...
It's that simple.
Subject to also office rules.
Yes.
If it's in the office rules, fine. But if it's not?
If it's not, then it's the exception. Because I always know.
So if it's not, is it okay?
I still don't believe in it.
You see, I think in the interest of the office, it's not in the best interest of the business to have people who are
involved.
A couple. Even look at when husband and wife run businesses. You still have situations when they have issues and it's obvious. The staff are all walking on eggshell because Madam is not talking to Oga, or Madam just shouted at Oga, and everybody's trying to save his head. It never really goes down well. I will advise against it, but like he said, there are exceptions to the rule.
Guys, you've heard Muna. On that note, we'll go to tip of the day. We'll be right back. Still beyond 6 packs. And my name is still Obi. Abide.
The way you say it's still Obi, as if somebody's going to change your name.
Well, you never know what.
Can sign affidavit. It just takes affidavit and publication. And the name has changed.
Maybe if you are doing multiple romance now.
Yeah, I need to be changed.
I need to another Yamuna. To another one, you are risky.
Sound experienced in this.
Excuse me. I watched Obi from afar.
Yeah,
Obi is my mentor.
Get out there. And I'm a nail. Don't mind him. I don't subscribe to him.
Yes, so we don't subscribe to him. You are rationalizing
all these nays in public. They are years inside. That's what the challenge is.
Who do we ask?
Anyway, it's been a wonderful time on the show. I still maintain it's a nay for me. Office romance, if you can avoid it, please avoid it. Abide?
I like the way he says, if you can avoid it. But you see, when something is only you, and you look at this yellow girl, with all the endowments, and you're feeling something mutual, feeling something like that. Hello. You just have to be smart about it. If you go about it the right way, all right, and angels will.
Muna, last word.
It's a name, man.
Neighbor.
Don't do it. Don't do it, bro. Run.
I don't trust this guy.
This girl's going to send you down.
I've had office romance.
No.
Like Obina, he has 5.
Get out there.
But he's not telling us.
Muna, I want to thank you for coming. It's been wonderful having you on the show, man. Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot, man. We've enjoyed it from your wealth of experience.
I've learned not to do it.
Abide, man. Always.
Office romance is the way
you are more there.
to build your life.
Don't listen to him.
Guys, we'll be back next week. See you around. Last word from me. Don't do it.
Do it.
Don't do it.
Do it.
Don't do it.
You must do it.
Don't do it.
You did it.
Don't do
Right.
it.
Do it.
Hello and welcome. It's time for another interesting package of
Everything music.
Angelina, you dey cool in my temperature. If you call, I go come deliver.
This is Talking Movies.
In times of old, the world was full of wonder. No!
Stop it! Welcoming you to your weekend for today.
Arise, O compatriots. It's time to use our voice.
Beyond 6 packs.
Bills.
Pay the bills. Keep paying my telephone bills. Pay my bills.
Welcome to Gallery.
Me and my paddies.
London for what?
London for medicine.
Medicine for what?
Medicine for coffee.
Are you sickness?
To our illness. Welcome to Gist Zone.
All right, my name is the Eselucien Wego One. Ona nyokoko nyonyo.
Wannan labarin ma yana feji na 36.
ita kuma babban labarin wannan jarida shine ainihin
labarin da ke gaban jarida shine ta bayyana cewa
Ọkwa ọjị Ikenga. Eziokwu.
Nwanne m nwoke.
Ikechukwu Ndukwe. Igbo.
Mam, iji wee mee ka ụbọchị na-aga n'anya ya.
Ọjị tuntun na-ewutelu unu.
Nation fún ti òwúrọ̀ yìí ibẹ̀ náà ti sọ pé àwọn ìgbìmọ̀ aláṣẹ ìpínlẹ̀ Benue pàṣẹ wípé.
Ní gbogbo àwọn ẹ̀ka, ní ẹ̀ka ètò ẹ̀kọ́, ní ẹ̀ka ètò ìlera, ní ẹ̀ka ètò ààbò.
This is the network service of the NTA.
Hello, you're welcome. This is Moment for Thought. I am Aliyu Bababaro. For far too long, the country has been talking about agriculture, revamping the backbone of the economy. Successive administrations in the country have been evolving one initiative or the other. If we will cast our minds back, we had Operation Feed the Nation, Back to Land, Green Revolution, and so many aspects and initiative for the development of agriculture. And when President Muhammadu Buhari came back as a presidential candidate, so many people were talking about, yes, this is another back to land, so to speak. And as expected, one of his cardinal principles of governance is to revive agriculture to its exalted position of greatness for national and international economy. And when we talk about agriculture in this administration, to many it is cultivation of rice, but it has various spheres that perhaps the nation will benefit better than the staple food rice. Yes, of course, we have developed rice that has reached the exportation stage, so to speak. But there's one fundamental aspect of agriculture that people were somehow forgetting about, that is cotton production, in spite of the fact that our clothing has to go back to the farm too when you talk about cotton. But incidentally, cotton is not just for the clothing or the garment industry. It has a very big value chain that, when subscribed to by a nation and its people, I think the sky is not only the limit, but the beginning of the horizon. You're welcome to the program. We are discussing the value chain of cotton and the Nigeria's economy. I have with me distinguished Nigerians who will do full justice to it in the studio on this discussion. I have Alhaji Lawal Matazu, President Cotton Producers and Merchants Association of Nigeria, COPMAN. He's an accountant by profession, and Alhaji Lawal Matazu is the principal accountant of Funtua Textiles Limited. You tell us about Funtua. It still existing, I suppose, among the few that are existing today. You're welcome to the program.
Thank you.
Yes. I have our own, well, Alhaji Matazu is our own too, Professor Kenife. He's a development economist and a professor of economics, the lead consultant to ECOWAS Commission and major national and international institutions and governments. And he is a commentator on public, political, and economic affairs fundamentally. Welcome to the program.
Thank you for having me.
Let's go straight to the matter at hand. Let me start with the president.
Okay.
The cotton industry in the country. As I said from the beginning of this discussion, the introduction is that cotton was very fundamental. We all grew up to see how cotton was highly valued. We have the cotton bud and so many things. And the export is an export commodity. How is it? How did we let it go as a nation? You have an experience in that, and you still work with the cotton industry. Yes, please.
Okay, Bismillah Rahman Rahim. You know, like we mentioned, cotton is one of the few commodity that is very wide in its value chain.
Yes.
When you grow cotton, you are creating job opportunities to a lot of people at different terminals. We have the production itself, we have the ginnery processing the cotton, we have textiles, we have oil mill, we have garment, we have feed mills continuously like this. So we can say it's one of the crucial commodity that is giving much employment to the country and also earning exports. So when you look at those glorious days you mentioned, Cotton was, of course, one of the few exporting commodities in the country that is given foreign exchange to Nigeria. But unfortunately, with coming of oil, that was the beginning.
The black gold.
Of course. So that was the beginning of the decline of agriculture in general.
Yes.
People now rush to cheap money, and agriculture was abandoned. While agriculture, from economists, from those who are in government, and by experience, is the solution to any country's problem. I can remember at a once economic summit, somebody was telling our state governor that
is Katsina.
Yes.
Yes.
There is three fundamental solutions to our economic problem in the country. The first one is agriculture.
Yes.
Second one is agriculture. Third one is agriculture. He cited a lot of countries that went through this. And so actually, with the coming of this present administration, part of his election campaign promises was that he will create employment. So agriculture is something that brings about employment.
Yes.
Employment, like you can see now everywhere in the country.
We could see that right from the rice cultivation and water.
That is it.
Yes, yeah.
And then when you come to cotton, textile industry was the second employer of labor in the country.
Yes, we'll come to that aspect of it, how significant it is to the economy. Let me come back to Professor Kenneth. And the same federal government has now initiated a plan to really revive the cotton industry, and at the same time, when you talk about cotton, you talk about the textile that have been in the doldrum. How do you see that initiative vis-a-vis the importance of cotton not only in national economy but in international economy too?
Well, starting from the international economy, the world production of cotton is 24 million metric tons. That's the global production. And the market value of global production of cotton is $38 billion. Now that is raw cotton. Nigeria production, earlier we were running with very low yield seeds that we are yielding 250 kilograms per hectare, but now we have superior seeds that could go from 2 to 4 tons per hectare, depending on, So that is a big boost. And I know that over 250,000 hectares are in cultivation, and there could be a lot more. And but you still have areas where the low yield cottons are being used. And there are areas where we can do 2, 3 seasons of cotton production in the river basins and some other areas. Then when you move from the cotton itself to the textile, the global value of the textile is $1 trillion. So you can see from 38 billion, the raw cotton, to $1 trillion.
With the value addition.
With the value addition, just the textile. And when you move from textile to garment, it's $2.5 trillion.
Incredible.
So where is Nigeria and sub-Saharan Africa?
Yes.
In that extreme, the extreme part of the value chain, our total value of Nigerian consumption of fashion is $4.5 billion, which is only 15% of $31 billion of sub-Saharan Africa.
Africa, yes.
So how do we focus on our own market by backward integration to ensure that the cotton we are producing will migrate through to textile to garment production? That is our challenge. And I remember in March not March last year, I think it was earlier than that, I was sitting in Central Bank in a meeting between all the uniformed officers on the right-hand side, and then all the garment manufacturers on the left-hand side. And the Riot Act was read to them that, you know, the presidential order is that we're not going to find dollars to give you to keep importing these these garments, these textiles. And there were the police, the police didn't turn up. Okay. But the Air Force, the Navy, the NYAC, First Air Force, all the uniformed officers, they were all there. And so what was your problem? We can't meet the quality we require. The people in the other side said, well, we can. Of course we can. And then we just said, okay, this is an MOU for all of you to sign. So they had to sign an MOU that we will produce the cotton lineup, his and Nakotan and all of them will produce cotton. And CBN will fund cotton production right from land clearing, land mechanization, hybrid seed inputs, fertilizer, herbicide spray and post-emergent, all the way to insecticides, all of that.
Yes.
And then the aggregation side of it, all the way to ginnery, processed production, and all that, and the garment production. So they funded end-to-end from CBN to ensure that we can deliver product of the right quality for the uniformed officers to save our foreign exchange.
Yes.
So that was it. Now, how far have we gone on that? Maybe something that we could discuss.
Yes, with this initiative, we are just talking about the garment industries and whatever, the textile. We're not even talking about the oil that you can obtain from the cotton seed. With this initiative from government, how are the cotton association, that is farmers and merchants association is doing in order to, do we say compliment or take from government the marching order, let me put that, as the phrase. What are you doing in that now?
So actually, you see, like our own association, as you can see it, is Association of Merchants and Producers. Naturally, in cotton business, it is an interwoven affair, whereby a merchant always provides quality seed, and pesticides and other inputs needed for cotton production to his own local farmers.
Yes.
So with the coming of this ABP program, we find it an opportunity to build up capacity of our farmers. You know, most of the production in the country is from smallholder farmers. So to have them now provide this funding to them so that they can cultivate this cotton and boost the production, which has been declining due to poor quality seed, which is now being improved. There is improved seed now, and even the local seed is being improved much above the previous capacity. Yes. And then afterwards, the funding is now available at your own doorstep. So it's an opportunity we can use to engage our farmers and continue business as usual. You have all the necessary input, the quality of seed there, and the market is also made readily available for you.
That is very fundamental, the market readily available.
Because you know before, you can produce the cotton without buyers. But now, the government is funding even textiles and ginneries to make sure that there is available market existing before the coming of even your commodity. So the issue of market, you see, is overcome. And then also, there's also a very good and lucrative price. You know, generally, it's not only cotton now, agri-produce are very, the prices are very attractive. So it's not something you do, you say, I didn't gain anything. There's a lot of gain in it. So with this, we believe with time, gradually, it will be improving to the targeted quantity needed for the country's
when you're talking about, the targeted quantity needed, the smallholder scheme cannot hold water, so to speak. How do we encourage these big-time farmers who are used to orchard, used to livestock production and poultry and water view? How do we bring them together?
We have a special within the Anchor Borrowers program, you have the Commodity Association model, which is what he's describing, and which is what Nakota and they are doing. But we also have prime anchors. The prime anchors are private business people that would have maybe 2,000-3,000 hectares, and they have their manufacturing processes. They have the entire chain. And we need to bring them in. We have them in rice. We have Dangote in rice. We have our Olam rice. We have some of them in rice. So we need to get some of them into the big boys in there so that they can express themselves across the entire cotton value chain. So because there are so much challenges at the moment, the yield has moved from 51,000 metric tons to over 200,000 metric, I think 213 or 220,000 metric tons. The yield over the time because of all of this technology coming on mechanization and all that stuff, and good yield and appropriate fertilizer to the land, all that stuff. So they have improved yield significantly, but it's still very small compared to the global. If the global is 24 million, and we are still doing just over 200,000, we are less than 1%. So we need to set a higher target for ourselves to head to about 5% or 10%, something like that. Because we have the land, we have the manpower, we have the resources. The money is there. The money, for the first time in this country, we have 3.8 million farmers access loan without collateral. Just provide your BVN number and the satellite coordinate of that your 1 hectare, and you are good to go. Yes. It hasn't happened in this country before. And then all the funding is end-to-end intervention. So it's from land clearing all the way to markets and processes. So we could never had it so good. So they have to use this opportunity. But unfortunately, I tell you something, this garment business is, you have countries like India, China, Holland, that have invested billions of dollars in producing all the stuff that we are wearing, the waxes, these clothes. And Nigeria is one of the biggest consumers in the world. I've lived in England for 40 years. I only have about 10 suits or 12 or whatever in our wardrobe, like all the white men. But here, every Friday, Saturday, I should be here, I should be there. Go and look at the wardrobes. And then insatiable appetite for Hollandese, Accra, all that. So we are the melting pot of this import. And the thing about the import is that we threw our guards, in the early 90s. So we liberalized. And then you now have countries that have invested billions on the manufacture. They undercut you. They subsidize these products to enter into the country. And they now know that you are producing cotton. They are coming in the midnight to buy the cotton.
It's incredible.
And they go and hide it and hoard it somewhere. So that the journalists are not even getting the cotton.
That is one issue. That is one
we have challenges.
Yes, the challenge again. When we talk about manufacturing, certainly you need power, you need energy. And how do we cope in this kind of situation? Like the cottage industry you could develop when you're talking about cotton, the value addition of cotton, not just to produce, harvest from the farm and export. How is the association really complementing government's efforts in that direction?
Well, you see, our own is to produce.
Yes.
If we produce, the processing stage and manufacturing is where there are a lot of challenges there. Like we started mentioning, the production cost is always very high. It's on a high side. When you talk of electricity, black oil, spare parts, what have you, they are all the components that are making the production very expensive, and you cannot compete with the foreign material that are coming in.
Okay.
Because all these textile industries suffer competition from foreign influx of foreign materials. A lot of them are imported, and you cannot compare yourself on price aspect. They come in, subsidize it, bring it much lower than your own price, and you know what it is. We are
some are lesser even quality, so to speak. I remember we have so many beautiful textile materials from Kaduna, Kano, Lagos, and all these places that we have this textiles industry. But how do we really match the competition vis-a-vis our own problem of power, technology, and regulations, so to speak?
Yeah, that's the biggest challenge we face, because you've now seen over 2 million jobs vaporize away from the early 80s, from Kaduna, Kanu, and even Lagos. We have all these mills and these garment industries. It's all gone. You know, nearly 2 million jobs gone. And yet, our consumption is growing astronomically. And we need to have government policy that makes it fashionable for people to patronize our made in Nigeria.
Made in Nigeria.
So that, you see that uniforms worn by the NYSC should have to be made in Nigeria. You insist that all of that, cars made here have to be made in Nigeria. Upholstery, you have to insist on some of those within reason. And of course, there are dumping of substandard goods in the country, and where you find subsidy, find goods that are deliberately subsidized, the custom have to augment the tax by putting levy, because you go to raise the duty on it to be comparable. Yes, so those are the tactics being used to destroy and decimate our local industries. Unfair competition. It is unfair competition. And we need to also recognize some of these new companies going into these manufacturing processes with industry protection. Have to have infant industry protection status for about 5 years to 10 years for these industries, so that you can protect them and they can produce. And then some of them can locate to the free trade zones, where they also have better facilities.
And the major thing first is, on the patriotism, that is, if we agree to consume our own local production. Because that is the only way we can build up our industries, and we have the capacity, the manpower, and every opportunity to grow up. But the problem is we are not helping the industries locally. Because except we buy from them, there is no way they will grow. And they know we can build them up.
Well, but I think when we have regulations, as the professor says, and the government really keep... Well, you never can tell, even now, today, when we cultivate rice that we can consume, some people are still importing. And you see the customs and access are always arresting them. We haven't gone really deep into cutting the value chain even. We're talking about transportation, we're talking about the oil that you can obtain from that. Perhaps when we come to the next discussion, we'll take a look at that. Thank you very much, Professor Kenny.
Thank you.
As thank you very much.
Thank you.
As this association, I think, do you knock at his door too? He speaks like a cotton farmer. Yes. Although...
No, this time I will hold his...
Okay, please hold him.
I've seen a big stop,
Yes. Welcome, Prof. Yes, thank you.
Welcome.
There has been the discussion on the cotton production and the improvement of cotton production, not only for the garment industry, the textiles and what have you, and other things, the value chain itself, and international economy. We'll be back. We haven't even touched the issue of oil. You can obtain oil from cotton, animal feeds, and organic fertilizers, and so many things. Perhaps we'll continue with the discussion in the following week. Thank you very much. Thank you for watching. I am Aliyu Bababaro. Goodbye.
Welcome to the world's first football scouting reality show, Football Dreams. We kicked off an extensive scouting selection for football talents in 2019, and together with our African Football Network, we've evaluated over 3,000 players from 13 countries. They all share the same dream, that one day they will become a professional football player. Only 28 players made it to fight for a contract with a professional European team in the grand finale of Football Dreams 2021 in Benin. Our main host and former professional footballer, England national player, and FA Cup winner John Fashanu will guide us through the show and push the players through extremely hard and challenging tests. Halfway to the final, 14 of the 28 players will be eliminated, but only one player will win the professional contract.
Bayelsa is a state of immense and varying cultures. This is, in turn, handed over from one generation to another. Some of their cultural practices and conventions are often dictated by the environments. The Ijaw people of Bayelsa State are predominantly fishermen with their lives revolving around water.
No.
It is easy to assume that living along riverbanks predisposes them to be natural swimmers. The truth is that infants in Bayelsa State are prepared for the challenges of life on water early in life through immersion. This is usually done by the mother, father, or sibling.
I have to taught her from this little stage so that she can learn from others. When she comes from the water side, she cannot be afraid of the water, none of the environment.
We dey carry our children, they come water. As the baby small, we dey carry and they come water, men they come they swim for small, as they drop them for water like that, so that the baby go learn how to swim and the baby no go fear river. Olden days time, children go swim, even though they conversate for river, then go swim because they need the loss because they sabi swim. But nowadays children, as the mothers, the few one when the mothers they carry the land, then sabi how to swim. The one when they come river now, if they enter water now, they don't lose. That is why we they learn our children to swim.
At what age is this usually done?
3 to 4 years time, we carry them to water side. If we burn them, if we not carry them to water, the children, sometimes then they fear. If you put them for boat, then they fear, they cry. If they carry them to water, if then they do like that, if we carry them go fishing self, they not they fear again. If then they see flying boat or waves them, they not they fear. Then just they look at, they laugh, they play, they carry them fishing. After we fishing finish, we just come, carry them, come back.
With this, the child grows up to explore and conquer his environment. Who knows? Nigerians' future Olympians could emerge from these infants on Bayelsa river banks.
NTA, you can't beat the rich.
This is the network service of the NTA.
Sheer adventurism is driving me to go deep into the Onyama mines. It is the biggest coal mine in the whole of
Well, the coronation of the new Oni is a watershed in the history of the Yoruba land generally, and Ife in particular. Now, because they have a leader now, that will...
Simply put, Gura is a beautiful countryside with awesome landscapes.
If something differently would be done to the Nigerian textile industries, that our youth will be employed.
Many people that attend the church
here can tell you.
Service in Oliarosa is in
We are taking a canoe tour of the communities on the bank of River Niger in Getso.
When Ekiti State drives to hold the 34th edition of the National Festival of Arts and Culture NAFest, few people could imagine its landscape is such a perfect fit for a major cultural festival of a national nature. Adire Ekiti, the state capital in particular, and the host city, is such an extensive montage of hills and valleys. They offer unique background for a week of rare and inspiring cultural extravaganza, the like of which the state had never seen. Ekiti essentially prides itself as the home of intellectuals. It may be that the environment may have greatly influenced the drive for scholarship in this state. I accept it may be a field of academic speculation whether actually landscape influences scholarship. But in the case of Ekiti State, it definitely influences the evolution of culture.
Nappers in Ekiti is a beautiful story. The people of Adire Ekiti are hill dwellers, but you can say probably in those their hills is concealed vast expression of culture in various diversities. And they have been showing it here since the Nappers begin in Ekiti State. Now it's beautiful, but then it has been reinforced by the totality of the participation of these Nappers. What we are seeing is not only an explosion of dance, music, drama, but we are also seeing that how much culture is bonding the country together. It is a beautiful picture. We have been speaking to a number of people on their experiences on this.
It's a statement of fact that this country, what unites us is bigger than what divides us. What we've seen here today is a statement of fact that this country, people run negative story for no reason. They want to divide Nigeria. Why? We don't need to divide anywhere.
That's why you are always obsessed with the issue of diversity, unity in diversity,
yes,
and the role of culture in bonding Nigeria together.
Nigeria must be together, irrespective of our challenges, our differences. We must learn to live with each other progressively.
Yes, delegations from all over the country coming to Ekiti were warmly embraced by the environment, and it strategically influenced their state. And not one delegate will go back home without an echoing presence of the area. NAFES itself has transformed into such a big symbol of a unified Nigeria and the biggest get-together of culture in the country. People of NAFES see themselves as part of an extensive brotherhood with a common attachment to the promotion of peaceful coexistence and national values through culture and arts. Over 30,000 people were in Ekiti for NAFES, either as state delegates, national delegates, tourists, journalists, and various other categories of stakeholders. They all blended and were one happy family. Events of the opening day of NAFES in Ekiti has a feature that is seminal.
Well, one of the virtues NAPES assume in festivals like this is the integration of youth and children into the mainstream of cultural expression in Nigeria. You can see the youth today. You may think that in Nigeria all of us are under attack by our youth. No, it is an expression of the cultural prowess of our youth and children, that if we train them well, they are going to make us proud in the later.
It is a feature of NAFES that it sees to the emergence of a national market wherever it holds around its area of major activities. It evolved in Ekiti too. It is officially called a cultural market, and appropriately so, because its products are exotic, and they often reflect the creative genius of various segments of this country in arts and crafts. There are performing art scenarios too. The patrons of this market are a rich blend of all the arrivals to Ekiti for the festival and the local community, and people who are drawn by the festival from all over the world. State participating at NAPES put up pavilions to make a rich show of their endowments in arts and crafts. It is such a lavish display that gives a micro picture of the enigma that is Nigeria, in terms of what it has and the potentials it possesses in art and culture spaces. Sometimes it is such a display of inspired creativity that can almost raise the dead or bring the future now. Such rare imagination, actually.
I'm in Ocean Pavilion. In Ocean, you see plenty woodworks that are not only beautiful to watch, but they have thematic meanings that only the best of the Yoruba can interpret. But then, I'm here with one of the officers. Mr. Kelvin Odiako is from Ocean. You don't sound Ocean to me, obviously.
Yeah, well, we are one Nigeria. Okay. I did my youth service in Ocean State and I was retained. So today I'm the Director of Visual Art Department, Ocean Council for Arts and Culture.
Did you hear, and you are from which state?
From Delta State.
From Delta State. Did you hear that? How about that for national unity? This man is not from Ocean State, but he did in NYSC here. Now they're recognizing his talent and what the difference he can bring to the state. They retained him. And to the glory of God, he is making such a difference not only to the state, but to the country. Mr. Diako, what I'm seeing here is various artworks. They captured my imagination. Now, different of them. Like, let me see this. You can look at this artwork. Two people, obviously, Yoruba people, look at the caps making difference playing Ayo.
As a matter of fact, the Yorubas are noted as a tribe that is the most prolific in wood carving all over Africa. So now on display we have various artworks. We have Oduduwa.
Okay. Okay.
This is Oduduwa.
Okay, let me see it. This is actually a woodwork of Oduduwa, the father of the Yoruba land itself, or the father of the Yoruba nation itself. Obviously, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
You are correct. So Oduduwa is the progenitor of the Yoruba race.
Yes.
So everything about the Yoruba revolves around Oduduwa.
Oh, okay.
Display are basically the mirror of the society, what the Yorubas are noted for. So, there are farmers here. And when you talk of Babalawo, we have this Okmon,
okay.
Okmon Ifa.
Okay, this one.
No, this.
Okay, the tray. Okay, that's the table.
For definition.
That's the table for the chief priest.
Yeah,
for somebody who does the definition.
Yeah, exactly.
Obviously.
So this is Babalawo.
Okay. But I'm much fascinated by that. It's very far from. Madam, bring that in for me. The lady carrying this pot is Aruba Oshun. Yeah, that lady. No, that one. Yeah, this one exactly. Is Aruba Oshun as well?
We call this one Adire.
Okay.
So it's also it doubles as a container for jewelries or whatever important items.
But what of the human carving?
It's actually a woman. This a woman with a baby at the back. You have a boy playing flute, and another lady too. You see, when you look at Yoruba carving, you discover that the head is almost about 2/3 or even 1/3 of the entire body. And why they have it that way is because they believe the head is the seat of wisdom. So they give the head more emphasis than any other part of the body. You see that, when you compare this with Western art, they are very, very much concerned about proportion, about 7 heads to the body. But the Yorubas believe that head is the seat of wisdom, is the seat of power.
What I'm saying, NAFED is like a school. It's an institution where we continually gain knowledge and probably get that knowledge for your own benefit and for the benefit of the humanity. Obviously, coming to this pavilion is shedding more light. But then there are more areas like that.
These pavilions can be so exciting to visit, such that Director General of the National Council for Arts and Culture, Otumba Runshawi, make it as part of his engagement notes to always go round the pavilions at every fest, and they never fail to capture his imaginations. The FCT pavilion suddenly had my mind thinking. The display has a picture that to me doesn't look FCT. I was immediately inquisitive.
Obviously, we know about ceramics, pottery in the FCT. What about woodwork?
You have to remember that FCT is the center of unity. And so it's like in FCT is the mini Nigeria. All the states are supposed to reflect what they do, aside from portraying the cultural heritage of the indigenous FCT people. We also have to consider that FCT is housing the entire Nigeria. So expect to see anything from everywhere in the FCT stand, because we are the center of unity. We make the whole of Nigeria feel united and know that FCT is our capital.
So this is reflective of that?
This is a reflection of that.
Does NAPES give you, what does NAPES give you? How do you feel, how do you see NAPES over there?
Well, NAPES is a very good opportunity for us to showcase what we have. It's a good opportunity for every state that is rethinking her culture. For us, particularly in the FCT, we seek to translate our cultural activities into income-generating activity, thereby translating them into sustainable enterprises for the young people especially. So an opportunity like this for us to see what others are doing and then let them see also what we are doing.
In another of the pavilions, I observed a remarkable scenario. In an open market, men pounding yam, and a group of singers were urging them on. It is actually a stand belonging to Ekiti, and there is a story attached to all this. It may come as a surprise to many people, including to myself, that Ekiti cultivates yam on a large scale. The truth is, it does. Not only does it cultivate yam, as a Yoruba community, Ekiti State knows more about yam than it does know about amala. It is a staple food here. In fact, so many cultural engagements and rituals are attached to yam in Ekiti State, like the Iriji festivals in the east. This is an exhibition of one of them. The eating of the yam is a stuff for Nollywood. But nobody will give it to Ekiti State that they are large producers of yam, to the extent that they have a serious celebration to celebrate yam, to cook it or to boil it and to pound it. Today I have seen it. It is a beautiful life. You need to go around this world, you need to go around this country to see the beauty that is concealed around this country you call Nigeria, and what unifies us together. Well, there has been a lot of celebration tied to it, dance, music, everything. The ultimate thing now is to eat from the mortar itself. The pounded yam need not to go out of the mortar. It has to be eaten there, and I'm going to be part of that eating. Well, I haven't washed my hand. Oh yeah, Oga.
So you start first. You are a visitor. We are showing you this. You have to start right.
Well, I'm given the privilege of starting to eat. These people, I don't know that they want to set me off.
This is warawa soup. One of the most traditional vegetables that are indigenous to it. Obe warawa. When you eat it, you go to your bedroom, you understand? You'll be okay, and you sleep.
Well, one interesting thing about the Ekiti is 100% Yoruba. When you come to this place, you may imagine you will eat a lot of amala to your satisfaction. Believe me, if you are not lucky, you will spend your whole days or your whole period in this place eating pounded yam. In fact, you may not see amala, and it's a Yoruba land. Well, Ekiti. Wallahi, in my week stay in Ekiti, I ate pounded yam twice a day. Such is the rarity of the food options. It may go on record also that Ekiti State cultivate yam on rocks, a feat that can make the savannas of the north central and the forests of the southeast green with envy. That much I think is eye-opening. Apart from the pavilions, as centers of cultural exhibitions, they can be restless too. When you see the old girls on stage, you know the times are good. Such is the character of many of these pavilions that they explode with music and dance all day long.